are the heroes' fathers. Horton, Lolich, Kaline, and Trammell continued their gloried history. Today we celebrate our anniversary, 100 years of Tiger baseball. Next on Fox Sports Net.
Even before the pivotal period when Detroit began putting the world on wheels, baseball has been a part of the city. They played the game downtown in the 19th century or so, we're told, but it was 100 years ago today that Detroit's American League team played its first game. It's a birthday party and you're invited. Very special pregame ceremonies are to begin momentarily with a game to follow tonight here on Fox Sports Net. Welcome inside Comerica Park into the Tigers pregame show. I'm John Keating. It's a long and welcome anniversary waltz tonight. Detroit, Boston, Chicago, and Cleveland are the 4 charter members of the American League, and in a few moments, Comerica Park will recognize some of its heroes over the years. The present-day Tigers could use all the heroic karma they can muster right now, and the history is embraced even by the young Tiger players.
You know, I thought about that yesterday, shagging in the outfield. I was like, what if I was with, who knows, Minnesota or somebody? And you know, there's just not that tradition there, and you know, it's special to me to think that Al Kaline wore this uniform and Ty Cobb wore this uniform, and you know, Kirk Gibson. I grew up watching him in LA, so you know, it's awesome, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. I love the English D.
So the present-day Tigers would like to impress some of their heroes. There is a silver lining. At least they're not Robert Downey Jr. He's been losing all of his battles of late, and our look back to Tuesday is brought to you by GMC. From professional-grade people come professional-grade trucks. Cal Ripken back in the lineup tonight, but did not play last night, and that's been a somewhat regular occurrence this young season. He wasn't needed last night, though the Tigers wiped away a 1-0 deficit when Juan Encarnacion came through with a single to center, scoring the chugging Tony Clark. But things got ugly in the fourth when Baltimore pushed across 4 runs, 1 on the misplayed play at the plate. Brandon Inge very down after the game last night. Robert Fick's torrid hitting, meanwhile, continues. He was 3 for 4 with a bomb and is now hitting .457. That made it 5-2, but the O's scratched out 3 more in the 7th. 1 on Melvin Mora's double to left. His initials, he is baseball's M&M. And the Tigers couldn't climb out of that hole. They scored a run in the 7th, but the Orioles won at 8-3. The Tigers on the wrong end for the 6th straight time. So the Orioles have won 2 straight for the first time all season. The last time the Tigers were in a skid, it was Steve Sparks who got them out of it. He gets the ball tonight. We'll talk more about the matchup as we roll along tonight here on Fox Sports Net. But the parade of former Tigers in their classic cars is coming right up, and we'll lead you up to that with Josh Lewin next.
Detroit has a nightly sports report dedicated to hometown teams and hometown.
5,000 adults 21 and over receive a Ty Cobb statue pin. Compliments of Motor City Casino. Get your tickets today at 248-25-TIGER or visit DetroitTigers.com. Some of us just like saying ought as we look back to the very beginnings of the Tigers, way back when they used to come by horse and buggy to see baseball. Josh Lewin is here with more on that first night, or day, I would guess it was. Certainly there weren't lights around that.
April 25th, 1901. We don't call it 2001 though anymore.
No, we should. Let's start that.
Who do we write about that to get that done? The Tigers took the field, and I thought you'd like to see exactly who was on the field. They played a couple kids up the middle. Did you know that?
How about that?
They really went with youth.
How about the nicknames here?
That's why I put this up there for you. They had everybody but Sneezy in the outfield here. Sport McAllister, Doc Nance, and the inimitable Ducky Holmes. And you got Pop, a couple kids, and a Doc. There are 2 Docs on one ball club. Is pretty good. Fritz Bulow was a catcher who was 5'7". Not too many 5'7" catchers these days, but things were a little different then. That was your opening day lineup for the Tigers. They rallied to beat Milwaukee 14-13. We'll talk a lot about that as we go on through the night tonight.
Not long thereafter, Ty Cobb found his way to Detroit, and the rest, as they say, is baseball history. Josh Lewin and Kirk Gibson with a history clinic for us tonight here on Fox Sports Net. Well, in about 20 minutes or so, we're about to take you through 100 years of baseball history in this city. We'll see again Al Kaline and Willie Horton and Mickey Lolich and George Kell. All that as the pregame show continues. See you in a moment.
Hey, you. Yeah, I miss you too. It's been a while.
A little bit after 7 o'clock, but first things first, let's get the anniversary party started. Here's Comerica Park's public address announcer, Dan York.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome again to Comerica Park on this significant date in Detroit Tigers history. Tonight, April 25th, 2001, we celebrate the official 100th anniversary for the Detroit Tigers as a member of baseball's American League. Over the next half hour, we will retrace the historical steps of the Tigers franchise decade by decade, briefly revisiting some of the memorable moments that have defined Detroit Tigers baseball over the past 100 years. Now it's an honor to introduce the Master of Ceremonies for tonight's 100th anniversary celebration. Who better to take us down memory lane than a man in his 54th year of Major League Broadcasting and his 41st year of calling Tigers baseball? A member of baseball's Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ernie Harwell.
Thank you very much. Fans, in honor of the 100th season of Tiger baseball, the Detroit Free Press and I have teamed up with your help this summer. We'll determine the greatest moment in Tigers history. Friday's Free Press, you'll find the first of 10 columns I've written which recap the great Tiger moments from the last 10 decades. Friday's column will feature the great moments from 1901 to 1910. Each week for the next 10, you fans can nominate your greatest moment of each decade by casting a ballot from the Free Press or by voting online. Now in July, we'll narrow the list down to 10 and announce the greatest moment of each decade. Then you fans will choose a single greatest moment, which we will announce on August 17th, right here at Comerica Park. Now be sure to look in Friday's Detroit Free Press for a unique ticket and merchandise package. It'll give you an opportunity to be with us on that special evening. It should be a lot of fun, and I hope you'll join us in choosing the greatest single moment in Tiger baseball history. I also invite you to pick up a Tiger 100th anniversary program on sale tonight throughout Comerica Park. It includes feature stories along with rare photographs, and each program is embossed and numbered for authenticity. Now let's venture back in time as together we remember 100 seasons of Tiger baseball. We have many special guests who have joined us to celebrate the Tigers' 100th anniversary, and tonight they will make their way around this glorious field, one car and one decade at a time. Representing Tiger baseball from the 1900s and the 1910s, welcome the granddaughter of the Tiger great, Ty Cobb, Cindy McGowan. The Tigers' first ever American League game was 100 years ago today, April the 25th, 1901. In that game, the Tigers used a 10-run ninth-inning rally to defeat Milwaukee 14-13. The most famous Tiger of all, Tyrus Raymond Cobb, made his debut in 1905 and played 22 years for Detroit. In 1907, the Tigers hired Huey Jennings as manager, and he led them to their first American League pennant that same season. But Detroit was disappointed in the World Series following the 1907 season as they were beaten by the Cubs. The next 2 years, the Tigers repeated with American League titles, but again failed in the World Series. Detroit lost to the Cubs in 1908, to the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1909. Cobb finished the season with a .420 batting average, 2 points short of the American League record of .422. 3 years later, Jennings led the Tigers to their first 100-win season, yet Detroit finished one game behind the Red Sox. Future Hall of Famer Sam Crawford ended his career with the Tigers in 1917. After 15 seasons, Wahoo Sam was the most prolific triples hitter. And again, representing the 1900s and 1910s, the granddaughter of the great Ty Cobb, Cindy McGowan. Next up, representing Tiger baseball for the decade of the 1920s, please welcome the son of Hall of Famer Harry Heilmann, Harry Heilmann Jr. Change took place in the early 20s for Detroit as Walter Briggs Sr. purchased 25% of the Tigers franchise, and future Hall of Famer Ty Cobb became player-manager in 1921. That same year, another future Tiger Hall of Fame player, outfielder Harry Heilmann, won his first of 4 American League batting titles during the 20s. Rookie sensation and another man who would eventually end up in Cooperstown, Heine Manouche, burst on the scene in 1923 and hit .334 in his first season as a Detroit Tiger. In 1926, Ty Cobb left Detroit for Philadelphia, where he played 2 more seasons before retiring. Cobb owns 12 individual batting records for the Tigers, including a career average of .369, 2,088 runs scored, 3,900 hits as a Tiger. And as a Tiger, he won an unprecedented 12 league batting titles. In 1927, Harry Heilmann won his 4th American League batting title, and the game of baseball changed dramatically for the fans in Detroit as Ty Tyson broadcast the first Tigers game ever on radio from Navin Field. Again, representing the 1920s, the son of Tiger great Harry Heilmann, Harry Heilmann Jr. Representing Tigers baseball for the decade of 1930s, please welcome the wife of the Tiger great Charlie Gehringer, Josephine Gehringer, and former Tiger and member of the '35 World Championship team, Bill Rogel. During the early 1930s, the Tigers were led by a dominating infield, featuring first baseman Hank Greenberg, second baseman Charlie Gehringer, third baseman Marv Owen, and shortstop Bill Rogel. Detroit attempted to hire Babe Ruth as manager in 1934, but unable to land the Babe, the Tigers turned to Mickey Cochran, and Mickey led the Tigers to the American League pennants in '34 and '35. After a disappointing loss in St. Louis in the World Series of '34, the Tigers finally captured its first World Series title in 1935, defeating the Chicago Cubs in 6 games. Also that season, future Hall of Famer Hank Greenberg won the American League Most Valuable Player Award, finishing the season with 170 runs batted in. The Georgia Peach, Ty Cobb, led all vote getters and became one of the 5 original inductees into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1936. In 1937, Charlie Gehringer claimed the league's MVP award and the American League batting title with a career high average of .371. That same year, Hank Greenberg set the Tiger record for RBI in a season with 183. The following year, Greenberg established the Tigers' single-season home run record with 58. Again, representing the 1930s, Josephine Gehringer and former Tiger Bill Rogel.
The birthday party continues, still to come. Appearances by Al Kaline and George Kell. Back to Comerica Park in just a moment. Ernie Harwell just finishing his introduction of George Kell and the wife of Hal Newhouser. Let's rejoin the voice of the Tigers, Ernie Harwell.
Beryl Newhouser and Baseball Hall of Famer George Kell. Representing the Tigers of the decade of the 1950s, please welcome Hall of Fame great and Mr. Tiger, number 6, Al Kaline. In 1951, Tigers George Kell and Vic Wertz hit home runs for the American League in the All-Star game in Detroit. The National League won that game 8-3. The following year saw dominating right-handed pitcher Virgil Trucks toss not one, but 2 no-hit games, in May against the Senators and in August at Yankee Stadium against New York. The 1950s were also highlighted by a pair of outstanding rookies, Harvey Keene and Al Kaline. Keene made a huge impact from his first day with Detroit, becoming the first player in Tigers history to win Rookie of the Year in 1953. And during the decade, Keene was named to 7 straight All-Star games and won the American League batting title in 1959. Kaline made an even bigger splash. In 1955, he became the youngest player in history to win the batting title with a .340 average at the age of 20. Kaline played another 19 seasons for the Tigers and finished with 3,007 hits, 399 home runs, and if any single player defines a Tiger baseball, it is Al Kaline. In 1956, a group led by John Fetzer acquired the Tigers from the Briggs family. And 4 years later, Fetzer purchased the entire team and became the team president. In 1958, future United States Senator Jim Bunning tossed a no-hitter for the Tigers at Boston Fenway Park. Again, representing the Tigers in 1950, the Hall of Fame great Al Kaline. Representing the Tigers of the decade of the 1960s, please welcome former greats Mickey Lolich and Willie Horton. In 1961, Briggs Stadium was changed to Tiger Stadium. First baseman Norman Cash won the batting title in the American League, hitting .361. That same year, Stormin' Norman became the first Tiger player to hit a home run completely out of the stadium since it was double-decked in 1938. 2 years later, Al Kaline finished second in MVP, hitting .312 and knocking in 101 runs. And 2 newcomers made their Tiger debuts in 1963, Mickey Lolich and Willie Horton. Lolich went on to establish Tiger career pitching records for games started and strikeouts, and Willie Horton was named to 4 All-Star teams and finished with 325 career home runs. After finishing 1 game out of first in 1967, the Tigers were loaded and ready for the '68 campaign. Denny McLain was a regular season hero, becoming the last pitcher to win 30 games in a season, posting a record of 31-6 on his way to the American League MVP and Cy Young Awards. Then in the World Series, Detroit erased a 3-1 deficit to beat the St. Louis Cardinals in one of the great fall classics of baseball history. Lolich won 3 games to claim World Series MVP honors, and Horton made the famous throw in Game 5, nailing Lou Brock at the plate as Detroit went on to its 3rd World Championship title. Again, representing the 1960s, Mickey Lolich and Willie Horton.
Some of the greats of the 70s and the 80s and even the present-day Tigers get their moment in the spotlight when we continue in just a moment.
Detroit.
A group of untested youngsters all hit the Motor City together in the late 70s. Names like Morris, Whitaker, Rosema, Parrish, Trammell, and Gibson. About the same time, Hall of Fame manager named Sparky came along, and together they made baseball history. In the early 80s, other pieces were added to the puzzle. Players named Lemon, Herndon, Bergman, Evans, and Hernandez. The result, another Tiger winner. The '84 Tigers vaulted to a remarkable 35-5 start, and they never looked back. Jack Morris tossed the last no-hitter for the Tigers during the first week of that season, and reliever Willie Hernandez captured the league's MVP award and the Cy Young Award. Detroit swept Kansas City in the playoffs and then whipped San Diego in 5 games to claim Detroit's 4th World Championship. And 3 years later, the Tigers returned to glory during the final weekend of the '87 season, trailing Toronto by a game with 3 to play. the Tigers pulled off a dramatic 3-game sweep of the Blue Jays at Tiger Stadium. Left-hander and Detroit native Frank Tanana tossed a 1-0 shutout, and the only run came on a solo home run by Larry Herndon. After the dramatic ending to the regular season, the Tigers bowed out in the '87 playoffs to the eventual world champion Minnesota Twins. Again, representing the 1980s Tiger greats, Lance Parrish and Dave Rosemar. Representing the Tigers of the decade of the 1990s, we welcome Tiger veterans Tony Clark and Bobby Higginson. In the early 90s, the Tigers scored with a long ball. Nobody hit more home runs for Detroit in the 90s than Cecil Fielder. In his first season with the Tigers in 1990, Big Daddy hit 51 home runs to go with a 132 run batted in, both of which led the American League. Fielder hit 245 home runs in 7 seasons in Detroit, led the league in runs batted in 3 times in those 7 years. In the 90s, new stars began to shine in Detroit. Travis Fryman, Mike Henneman, Tony Clark, and Bobby Higginson. Fryman made 4 All-Star appearances as a Tiger. Henneman became the Tigers' all-time save leader in 1993, compiling a career total of 154. We watched homegrown products, Clark and Higginson, make their debuts in Detroit in '95, and since then both have established themselves as Tiger cornerstones. Since 1995, Clark has led the Tigers 3 times in homers, twice in hits, and twice in runs batted in. While Higginson not only led the Detroit team in hitting twice and slugging percentage 3 times, but he established himself as one of the premier fielding outfielders in baseball. The decade and the home of the Detroit Tigers came to a close in 1999 as the Tigers played their final game at Tiger Stadium. On September the 27th, 1999, the Tigers beat Kansas City Royals 8-2 and said goodbye in a final tribute to the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. Again, representing the 1990s, Tiger veterans Tony Clark and Bobby Higginson. Finally, representing Tiger baseball for the next decade, welcome Jeff Weaver, Todd Jones, and Brandon Inge. On April the 11th, 2000, the Tigers opened this spectacular new ballpark, Comerica Park. Its unique design and entertainment features make Comerica Park the standard to which all other sports and entertainment venues will be measured. In 2000, Tiger closer Todd Jones established a new season save record with 42, made his first trip to the All-Star game, and became the first Tiger pitcher to win the American League Roll Age Relief Man Award. Tiger starter Jeff Weaver led Detroit with 200 innings pitched last season and established himself as the pitcher of the future. At just 23 years old, rookie catcher Brandon Inge has made a rapid rise to the Major League level. Through the first month of the season, he's provided the Tigers with solid defense and timely hitting. And tonight, we remember that it has been 100 years for the Tigers in the American League, and we salute the players and teams who have played for the Tigers and the many millions of fans who have supported the team over the past century. Thank you, and happy anniversary from your Detroit Tigers.
We are thrilled to have them all in our midst again. A glimpse back into the greatness that has been the Detroit Tigers in their 100 years of existence. The game between the Orioles and the Tigers still to come here on Fox Sports Net in just a moment. The lineups will be presented tonight by Mr. Tiger Al Kaline and Mr. Oriole Cal Ripken. But before game time rolls around, we'll get the chance to talk to the longtime broadcaster of the Tigers, George Kell. All that still to come as we continue this Wednesday night from Comerica Park in just a moment.
Hey, you. Yeah, I miss you too. It's been a while.
Hey, Mom. No, I'll be home soon.
Verizon Wireless. Our network covers more towns.
His first played in the American League. From the days of Ty Cobb to being crowned world champions in 35, 45, and 1968. To the heroes of today, allowing us to watch their dreams come true. We say thanks for the memories, guys. Happy 100th anniversary, Tigers, and the American League. 100 years and 5 hours old are the Detroit Tigers now, and they celebrate this anniversary with a home game against another team that was around in 1901. Al Kaline's hometown of Baltimore is here to help us celebrate. Although at 5-13, not a lot to be celebrating if you're the modern day Detroit Tigers. Josh Lewin, Kirk Gibson, thank you very much for joining us, and happy anniversary indeed to the Tigers. I wish we could be talking about 13-5 instead of 5-13. Phil Garner is juggling the lineup. You don't blame him. He's got Robert Fick batting second in the lineup. I guess you put your best hitter at the number 2 position.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I had a conversation with Robert Fick at the end of spring training. He was very disappointed. Didn't know whether he was going to make the team. I said, Robert, whatever you do, don't burn any bridges. You're going to get your opportunity, and his opportunity has come. And now he's played 13 games for the Tigers. He's done a real good job, and he's shown how pure of a hitter is, hitting not only fastballs, Josh, but doing it the Phil Garner way and being able to sit back on changeups, work the count, and he's been quite a role here in his limited time that he's had so far. Up to the second spot in the order. Phil Garner's got to juggle it around, got to get more production out of the top of that order, and you can see his performance so far in the first 13 games this year. 4 RBIs all of last April, so Robert is off to a much better start this year, and he's a bright spot in the Tigers.
Well, and for Baltimore, it's kind of funny. They've got a guy that wears number 25, left-handed hitter, pure hitter. They're trying to find a way to get him at bats. That's Jay Gibbons, who had 4 hits yesterday.
Well, he is, and he's kind of right on the same mold as a Robert Fick. Don't know what kind of position they're going to find him, but the guy is hit in the minor leagues. And like you said, Josh, last night he had 4 hits there. You see him driving the ball to left field. This one here, he gets one off the end of the bat, but he went with the pitch. He'll be in the lineup again tonight. We'll find out. The only difference with him, actually, is the Orioles have said they're going to give him 500 at-bats. That's what Robert Fick is looking for. Gibbons is going to have a challenge tonight. Knuckleballer, Steve Sparks on the mound. That'll be something new for him to experience.
Tigers trying to break a 6-game losing streak tonight as, again, they celebrate 100 years in the American League, and they take on a Baltimore Orioles team that's had the same shortstop/third baseman for the last 21 years. Cal Ripken in the lineup tonight. Tigers and Orioles are coming up next.
Hey, you. Yeah, I miss you too.
Celebrated tonight, and moments ago, a special ceremonial first pitch. Mr. Kaline, Mr. Kell. Off speed.
Oh, come on, big wheel.
The pride of Swift in Arkansas. Got it over the plate to Lance Parrish. Al Kaline followed for him as well. Great to see those guys together again. That's selfish on my part. I grew up listening to those guys on TV. They were a shade better than you and I, Gibby, but George Kell is standing by right now with our John Keating.
Yeah, Josh, one of the best days in Tiger history was that day in May of 1946 when George Kell became a part of Detroit and went on to become the great player and a longtime broadcaster. It is great to have you back in Detroit for a baseball game. How are things going for you in Swift in Arkansas these days?
Going great. I tell people I'm retired, I do nothing, John, but there's no such thing as doing nothing. There's something all the time.
You watch these guys all the time. You're still a big Tiger fan.
I watch them every night. I have DirecTV in Swifton. I have an apartment in Little Rock, and my wife at 6 o'clock every night, 7 here, she has a TV dinner for us, and we watch the ball game.
How much do you miss the baseball? I know traveling was tough, especially as you got a little bit later in life, but how much do you miss the ball game and being around the clubhouse?
I miss it. I would love to broadcast in my living room at home. I can't travel anymore, but I really miss broadcasting.
All right, give us your analysis of what we need to do to get these Tigers going a little bit.
Well, we got to make some runs. We got to get some people on base, and right now we're making some mistakes, bad mistakes. We're not playing good fundamental baseball, and I know it bothers Phil Garner, who is a perfectionist.
It had to be great to see Al Kaline again and to take part in a ceremony like this where you guys are honored together.
Hey, listen, I love coming back to Detroit and the state of Michigan. This is like home to me, and I want to come back. I don't want these people to ever forget me. I'm not going to forget them.
That's not going to happen. How many times will you get back to Detroit over the course of a season, or would you like to get back to Detroit?
I'll tell you what I told John McHale and Mr. Ilitch. If you need me, I'll come. I don't travel a lot anymore, but I'll come when you need me.
Before we let you go, can you give us one time, for old time's sake, it's a bright, sunshiny day in George Kell?
Yeah, so many Kellisms.
Oh, man, we love them. We love them all, yeah.
I don't know how the people of Michigan accepted a Southern boy to come up here and spend 37 years with a Southern accent and act like they liked it. They act like they did anyway.
Well, we had some sunshine, so if you would look right at that camera and tell us what kind of a day we had today.
Well, it's been a sunshiny day, but not a warm, sunshiny day.
George, it is great to see you. We're going to try to sneak out of the broadcast a little bit later. Let's go back upstairs to Josh and Gibby right now.
All right, John, thank you very much. I am very much on record. Anytime Mr. Kell wants me to get out of this chair, I am happy to move aside. He talks about a Southern boy being accepted. Ernie Harwell, same story. A couple of Hall of Famers, broadcasters, people. Great to have George Kell back in Detroit tonight. And we do look forward to him coming up and visiting with us, Gibby, in the broadcast booth this evening. We've got the windows closed right now. They can talk all they want to about the sunshiny day. It's chilly, 44 degrees to start tonight.
What's it going to be at the end of the game today, Josh?
Well, I nailed it yesterday. I said 40, so I got a vision of 39 tonight.
I'll take 40.
All right, well, you're maybe a day late and $1 short on it, but I've got you down. Tigers ready to take the field. They've got the knuckleballer Steve Sparks out there this evening. And Steve Sparks, the 6th best ERA in the American League right now. It's a pretty nice man to have on the mound if you're trying to break a 6-game losing streak, which Phil Garner's Tigers are tonight. And they're taking out a Baltimore team, Gibby, that right now is getting hot. They've won 3 of 4, 5 of 7. The Orioles, a team that's had to kind of adjust on the run. They had Albert Bell retire on them, and they've had some other guys get hurt, but they're 9-11 right now.
Well, and you know, when they came in here, the Tigers were looking forward to a change of scenery. Last night was not one of the Tigers' better games. I know Phil Garner not pleased with the offensive production, but the approach. And you know, at times he feels his team makes progress towards the proper approach, but you know, right now they seem to be pressing a little bit, trying to do too much, and they're totally out of that approach. And he has reworked that batting order lineup and trying to shake things up a little bit. And you know, I think it's time for a little tough love from Phil Garner to his team. I think he's going to tell them how he feels, and he expects to see some change.
Steve Sparks leads the guys out onto the field tonight, and we'll check out the Baltimore Orioles starting lineup that Steve will face this evening. Veteran right fielder Brady Anderson at the top of it, then Mike Bordick and Delino DeShields. Jeff Conine is at first. The man we talked so glowingly about moments ago, Jay Gibbons at DH. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about Mr. Ripken as the game moves along tonight. Melvin Mora in center field, Brooke Fordyce the catcher, Jerry Hairston Jr. is the Orioles second baseman. And here's Steve Sparks.
Well, let's take a look. Really, the Tigers' most reliable starter, and that he's being very consistent. His starts have all been good. 2.25 ERA, that's the 6th best in the American League, and he's got to change the speeds on his knuckler, and it's a little chilly tonight, Josh, and he's not going to have quite the feel on those knuckles or fingernails that he would on a little warmer day, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Defensively, we'll show you Robert Fick getting another start at first base as we take you around the horn. Damian Easley over there on the right side of the infield as well, playing second. Jose Macias, who's the Tiger leadoff man tonight, by the way. He's at third base. Davy Cruz is at short. In the outfield, left field, the Sun field right now for Bobby Higginson. Juan Encarnacion's in center. Roger Cedeno is in right, and he's been dropped to 8th in the order. Javier Cardona, the personal catcher of Steve Sparks, or so it's developed so far in this 2001 season.
I tell you, Roger Cedeno, was expected to be consistent at the top of the order, and Phil Garner has moved him down. And one of the places you put your speed guys down at the bottom of the order, that's also in many other innings. Like he can maybe lead off an inning down there. I think kind of a dual message here. Take the pressure off yourself from being in the leadoff spot, but also nobody likes to get moved from leadoff to the 8th spot. Cedeno understands the reason why he's down there. He can't like that. Maybe Phil Garner looking to see the way some of his players are going to respond.
8th is as low as it can go in the mind of Cedeno. Remember, he's a lifetime National Leaguer, so that's basically the 9th spot in the NL since the pitcher hits. It's the last rung on the ladder. So we'll see if that puts a spur into Roger Cedeno, gets him going again.
It's kind of interesting, Josh. I was down here at about 2:15 today, just keeping my eyes open. Wanted to see how everybody was going to respond, especially the coaching staff was all here early reviewing the tapes. And noticed some pretty good conversation. We'll pass those along as the telecast progresses.
Brady Anderson, a .205 batting average. Reaches for the knuckleball, slow roller to short. And Davy Cruz unloads for the first out tonight. Steve Sparks, one of just 4 pitchers right now to have a complete game shutout in Major League Baseball. That was the one win. He and Kurt Schilling, Albie Lopez, and of course Hideo Nomo with that no-hitter.
Well, almost 7 innings per start, and if you remember that last game that Steve Sparks pitched down in Cleveland, he gave up 3 runs. Well, that was the game the Tigers played miserably, and actually I don't know if they should have had any earned runs at all.
Mike Bordick, Orioles shortstop, takes a whack at the knuckleball. Way up there, Davy Cruz says, that'll be me for the second out. When Steve Sparks faced the Orioles last summer, the only time he faced them last year, he got 14 runs worth of support and a 14-3 victory. Of course, the runs have been a little bit tougher to come by lately. Tigers' losing streak is at 6. Make it 11 out of 13. And Phil Garner cringing with the knowledge that right now 5-13 overall, that's the bottom of the pile in Major League Baseball.
Oh, where was that?
Don't know. That's Dale Scott, who was responsible for balls and strikes tonight. Little loop shot. Macias and Cruz both try to get there, and neither will.
Oh, that's ugly.
Looks a lot like some of the hits yesterday. Baltimore taking nothing away from the balls that they did drive. They drove a few of them, but they had 4 infield singles, 2 bloop singles, and a bloop double.
Look at even Delano's laughing at this one. There's a great knuckleball here. Comes right in on the handle, and at first swing, I don't think Delano figures that's a hit, but couldn't throw it out there better.
Brings up Jeff Conine, one of several Oriole veterans, off to a very, very slow start. Conine made his mark early in his career with the Kansas City Royals, then was one of the original Florida Marlins. We talked about this a bit yesterday. The Orioles, it's kind of bizarre. They talk about retooling, rebuilding, going with youth. But you see Conine and Ripken and those guys out there. Brady Anderson, Mike Bordick, Delano DeShields, all in their mid-30s. And in the case of Ripken, he's 40.
Tigers pitching out, keeping an eye on Delano DeShields. Has 4 stolen bases so far this year.
The Orioles are kind of like the Tigers in that they are supposed to be a team that'll run around a little bit this season. But like the Tigers, It's tough to steal when you're not getting guys to first base. The Orioles have the worst batting average in Major League Baseball.
Watch him here. Oh.
That one danced a little bit on its way. 1-2.
That's the thing about the knuckleball. It can make you look so silly as a hitter. Look at Jeff Conine right here. I mean, this is totally eats him up. Probably looks easy from your living room.
Another knuckleball. Steve Sparks strikes out Jeff Conine. There was a 2-out single and nothing more for the Baltimore Orioles. Nice job by Sparks, and now here come the Tigers. The Tigers now show you their lineup, and it's a mix and match Granimals style lineup tonight. Jose Macias at the top. Robert Fick at first. Bobby Higginson in left. Then it's Tony Clark, Davy Cruz, Juan Encarnacion, Damian Easley. Cedeno, as we mentioned, dropped to 8. And Javier Cardona catching and batting 9th. Willis Roberts in our Pepsi pitching report.
That's right. He was in the Tigers system for 7 years and then signed as a free agent in 1992. Pitched in the Dominican Winter League, very successful, 6-1 with a 1.66 ERA, and tutored by his uncle, Jose Rio, who got me plenty of times, former Reds All-Star, so that means he taught him that changeup and splitter.
Rio's trying to make a comeback, and no takers on that yet, but boy, it just kind of by the associated property, he has made a comeback. He has taught Willis Roberts how to be Jose Rio, vintage 1990. And when you watch Willis Roberts here tonight, if he's on, this is not the same Willis Roberts that was a longtime Tiger prospect. Same guy, very much different stuff.
Yeah, this has developed much more, a little more velocity than he had when he was back here with the Tigers, Josh, and the split finger fastball is much sharper and better located.
And to his credit, Kirk, to hear the Orioles people tell it in his one start that he has made this year, that was 5 days ago in Tampa Bay, he cracked a fingernail in the 3rd inning and pretty much had to go with all fastballs from that point on. He still did a real nice job. Line to foul by Macias.
This right here is why Jose Macias is at the top of the order today, Josh. I believe, and I don't know this to be a fact, but he has to watch as many pitches as anybody so far this year in the Tigers lineup. And that's what Phil Garner wants. Somebody that's going to go up there 0-2 and battle. See Macias fouling that pitch off. You don't want to be 0-2, but you just hang on.
Puts it in play. Bordick releases just in time. Take you around the horn for the Baltimore Orioles. There's Jeff Conine at first. And it's Jerry Hairston Jr. at second base. Cal Ripken Jr. is at third. Mike Bordick is the veteran shortstop, and some veterans in the outfield. Delano to Shields in left. Not Melvin Mora in center, but certainly Brady Anderson in right. Brooke Fordyce, a former Chicago White Sox and Cincinnati Reds catcher. And Willis Roberts, who was given a chance with those Cincinnati Reds after the Tigers gave up on him. The Reds gave up on him too.
Robert Fick in the number 2 spot. Talked to Robert today and said, boy, you really seem to be centering the ball. How you feeling? Of course, I'm almost there. Not quite where I need to be. And that's just how Robert is. As good as he's been hitting the ball, 8 for 15. He wants more. He expects more consistency and wants to drive the ball a little more. It's called damage. And that's what the Tigers need.
Taking all the way on 2-0.
And Phil Garner likes that. Make the guy throw some pitches.
I kind of like what Garner has done with the lineup tonight. Strike. Oh. Strike near the outside corner, 3-1.
It's the token 3-0 pitch. Is it within 4 inches? It's a strike. You can tell I was a hitter, can't you?
That one rammed in there as well, 3-2. If you look at this lineup, though, Gibby, Macias, probably the guy who sees the most pitches by and large, statistically, so he goes first. Right now, Robert Fick is your best hitter. That's normally where you'd find Number 2. Bordick put to the test again. Higginson and Clark at 3 and 4. That's pretty much par for the course. And the other little adjustment, Davy Cruz up to 5th, Juan Encarnacion up to 6th. That means Easley and Cedeno, a couple guys who are slumping, are moved down on the order to 7 and 8. Didn't get Phil Garner to say this, but it's almost like Phil is saying, look, what you've done so far, 18 games in, puts you pretty much in a certain spot in the order. Robert Fick, the way you're going, you are a number 2 type. So
well, he pretty much managers judge like by first 20 games. And even though we're not to 20, I think Phil Garner felt something had to be done. Even though nobody's on base, I think Phil Garner likes the approach. Early in the game, willing to see pitches, put pitches on the pitcher's arm. The more bullets he throws, the chances of him making a mistake.
Higginson shoots one to left on 2-0, but it curls to Delino to Shields, and the new look batting order does not produce anything yet. Yeah, we listen, we understand, we make it work. By Pepsi, the joy of cola, and by Wallside Windows, most preferred, most referred. Josh Lewin, Kurt Gibson, and hopefully a cast of dozens. Tonight we expect to talk to some of the former Tiger greats that are here to help celebrate 100 years of the Tigers in the American League. Jay Gibbons looks at a 59-mile-an-hour knuckleball up and away. Gibbons, talked about by Kirk in the beginning of the broadcast, had 4 hits yesterday. Seemed to make some adjustments as the game went along to get those 4 hits.
You're right, Josh. First time up, made it out on a fastball away. Second time up, took the fastball away the other way. Made that adjustment. Then same on a breaking ball. Third time up, didn't drive it as much as he'd like. Fourth at bat, drives it. And that's, I think, again, what Phil Garner is looking for, adjustment.
Works a walk.
Pretty good eye.
Second Oriole base runner tonight. And it brings up Cal Ripken, our first chance to see the Iron Man in this series. And he gets a nice little hand as he comes to the plate. Boy, where do you start with this guy, huh?
What page of the media guide?
Well, he's got 18 pages in the media guide all to himself. And somehow that seems light. 40-year-old Calvin Edwin Ripken Jr. Baltimore born, Baltimore raised.
Always different stances for Cal. Always known to change up the way he sets up. There's the old knuckleball. That's the knuckleball stance. Trying to delay himself.
Ball gets away from Cardona. Gibbons wheels around second. Yeah, he had thoughts about third, but he'll stay. Advancing on the knuckleball gone wild.
Steve Sparks struggling with his control here, and Javi tries to catch that ball as opposed to getting over in front of it and smothering it. I don't think he thought it was going to break that far.
Right in there. And the count 2-2 to the man who ranks 11th all-time in games played. Closing in on his boyhood hero, Brooks Robinson, for number 10. Takes a swipe at that one, and it's Cedeno from right. And he's got it. First out, second inning.
It's interesting to watch Steve Sparks You can kind of get an idea of how he feels, the kind of feel he has on that knuckler when he gets behind in the count on Gibbons. It was 3-1, threw him a knuckler. Got behind Cal Ripken, stuck with the knuckler. Acting more and more like the crafty veteran he is. Don't give in.
Sparks has already broken one long Tiger losing streak this April, and the Tigers lost 5 in a row. It was Sparks that busted it up. Tigers in tonight having lost 6 straight. And the early return is pretty good because that knuckleball seems like it's got some life. Facing Melvin Mora here.
Tiger killer.
Yeah. Where's number 6? But maybe more appropriately, Gibby, would be the number 5. He is due to be the father of quintuplets this October.
Straight up?
Straight up quintuplets. That would be 5. And I read somewhere there were only 15 sets of quintuplets born last year in the entire world. They say your odds are 1 in 4 million.
See, very productive against the Tigers, hitting over 400. He's got a lot of pop. Quintuplets, 400 average.
Flares this one in a center field. Gibbons tagging on Encarnacion, and will scooch over to third with 2 out in the inning. If the Orioles happen to make the playoffs, I think his wife is due right at the end of September, beginning of October.
I tell you, I thought it was an exciting thing when I got to witness the birth of my children, but I don't know if I want to do 5 at a time. Huh?
He was
That's a lot of crying.
He was a little surprised to get that news, believe it.
That's a lot of crying. Big tag up by Jay Gibbons right there, now with 2 outs and the knuckleballer on the mound. Javi Cardona. Have to be a little more on guard. No error, no room for error here.
Fordyce, ground ball near short. Davy Cruz vacuums it up, lets it go, and gets his man. The leadoff walk doesn't blossom. We stay scoreless as Clark and Cruz and Encarnacion gets set to come up for the Tigers in the second. Years in the American League as of today/tonight. Bell Tire stat of the game a century ago. I love that. 118 complete games. Only gave up 22 home runs all year. Pretty good. Ducky Holmes and Jimmy Barrett, 2 of the stars on the team. Sport McAllister, Doc Nance. Talked about it in the pregame show. The
big power year there.
Double play combination, Gibby, I kid you not, was Kid Elberfeld and Kid Gleason. They had 2 kids in their starting lineup, 2 guys named Doc. They had a Ducky, a Pop, and a Sport. And we ask where have all the great nicknames gone? These Baltimore Orioles in their 1901 incarnation, they had a guy named Slats Jordan. They had Chappie Snodgrass.
Come on.
How would I make that up?
Snodgrass?
Chappie Snodgrass. The great Chappie Snodgrass.
Never heard of it.
Cleveland had Candy LaChance and Shorty Gallagher. Personally, I like Shorty Gallagher. Tony Clark, 6'7" and a half. Not called Shorty. Takes a strike from Willis Roberts. No score. Bottom of the second. Of course, in 1901, the league also had a guy named Cy Young. Baltimore had John McGraw. Bouncing ball to second. Tony Clark will be thrown out by Spanky Hairston. Somehow I don't think that one's going to stick. Did you ever have an exciting nickname, or were you just Gibby? Nobody ever called you the Flash or anything like that?
No, just Gibby.
You show me nothing.
Sorry.
Well, the truck just volunteered a boatload of alternatives. I'm not going to pass him along. Strike one to Davy Cruz.
I can take it.
Daddy Warbucks, that's all right?
Oh, is he a bald-headed guy?
He might be. Ground ball from Cruz to short. I got two more for you, then I'm going to leave this alone. The Philadelphia A's 100 years ago. Sox Siebold and Bones Eli.
Isn't that backwards? Eli Bones.
My favorite is still the Tigers, though. Sport McAllister. All right, Juan Encarnacion, who, remember when he first came up, remember what he wanted to be called? He wanted to be called the Train. Somehow that one never stuck.
Juan swinging the bat better as of late. Had pretty good swings yesterday's game. Watched him in BP again today. Really getting to the fastball in BP.
You talk to a lot of Tiger fans. It sounds like if there's one guy who personifies the frustration, you just keep waiting for Juan Encarnacion to flat out bust out. Sweeps a ground ball to short. Mike Bordick has had himself a busy first couple innings. Nice pick by Conine. 6 up, 6 down so far by the one-time Tiger, Willis Roberts. We are off to the third. No score. What is this, our fourth year together out of 100?
Radio.
Looking forward to chatting with George Kell coming up. Maybe in the bottom of the third, or certainly by the top of the fourth. 36 years as a Tiger broadcaster, and of course, a Hall of Fame playing career as well.
Yeah, George critiqued me a few days, or two.
Harrison the ground ball to second. One down, third inning, still a scoreless game. Now, folks, this Saturday, it's the return of McDonald's Family Nights to Comerica Park. It's a special afternoon appearance of this promotion. Pro Sports' greatest value package includes 4 tickets, 4 McDonald's meals, 2 ride coupons, Tiger pennants, and a limited edition game program. 313-471-BALL, the number. Operators are standing by. Wow, it's a pretty nice looking knuckleball. Not if you're Brady Anderson, maybe.
Oh, mixes in a fastball, looking for the knuckler. Get the 79-mile-an-hour cheeser.
Now the knuckleball punched over to short. Cruz gotta hurry. Gets Brady Anderson.
Good backhand by Davy. Good strong throw. Can't criticize Davy Cruz for his arm strength or accuracy. Always on the money.
Brings up who else but a shortstop. The shortstops have been really front and center in this game. Mike Bordick up now for the O's. 13 outs in this game, 14 outs, 8 of them by the shortstops. Mostly on ground balls. Yanked foul. Tom Treblehorn had to dance out of the way.
Did Mike Bordick hit any foul his first at bat? Do you remember? Oh.
Tonight, I don't remember. Last night he must have hit a half dozen down that way.
Yeah, you want to keep your eyes open over there on the third baseline with Bordick up.
He's our Lowe's improvement player. This is since joining the Orioles. It's only gotten better. And there were some strange circumstances when he joined the Orioles. He was the guy that they signed to move Cal Ripken off of short and over to third base. So there was some pressure to produce, and he really didn't offensively at first, but he was so good a field.
Didn't matter.
Yep, they accepted him. Jerk to left. Got that one fair.
Steve Sparks tried to sneak another fastball through, Josh. look right here. You can see no knuckleball, fingers together. Right over the heart of the plate, and Bordick not trying to hit it the other way.
Delino to Shields.
Boy, Dale Scott does not have the high zone.
He's supposed to.
No, he doesn't. I've watched him, and that pitch is right there at the top of the zone.
Delino to Shields works it now to 3-0. Didn't get it, so DeShields on 4 pitches. He's aboard for the second time tonight. Jeff Conine comes up next. The Tigers, if you missed it last night, well, quite honestly, you didn't miss much. The Orioles an 8-3 winner. Phil Garner not real pleased with the way it turned out. He had Jeff Weaver on the mound. Pat Henkin, got to tip your hat. He did a real nice job for Baltimore. Conine drives one towards center, and Encarnacion coming and makes the play. So the Orioles again put a man on. In fact, this inning they put 2 on, but again they do not score.
NASCAR on FX. Get your motor running with some wild
Edition of Tigers Weekly. Ernie Harwell looks back on the team's very first AL game in 1901 on this date. That and much more on Tigers Weekly, hosted by John Keating, Saturday morning at 11:30, right here on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Steve Sparks so far, Josh, nothing through 3 has he given up, and the Tigers haven't really threatened here. You hate to see him just sit back. You know, there's a comfort level. Oh, they're not ahead of us, and no urgency. Boy, put some runs on the board, boys.
Well, against a guy who tried for several years to make the Tigers and could not. Willis Roberts is the Orioles pitcher, native of the Dominican Republic. Made it to the Tigers for an inning and a third in July of '99. That was it. The rest of the time in the minor leagues, he was with the Reds organization last year. Opens up with Damian Easley, bottom third of the Tiger order. Roberts' best year in the Tigers organization was probably 1996. He was 9-7 for Single-A Lakeland, ERA below 3. They moved him up to Double-A in '97. He went 6-15. ERA of his height, 6.3. Chopped to third, Cal Ripken. That's a foul ball, though. You don't think Cal Ripken can still move around a little bit at age 40? You're mistaken.
Well, plus he knows that pitch was that split finger pitch, and Cal, I was watching him moving over, cheating a little bit. Not a little guy. He's got some good vertical reach anyway. Probably not as quite the jump he used to have.
Still at the age of 40, though, in the offseason, even with the back surgery, he still plays.
Loves to play basketball. Plays
at a hoop. He invites local Division I college players to come over to his gym because he wants the highest level of competition possible.
Have you ever been over there, Josh? Is he a good shooter, or does he back him down low?
I've never been asked to play, shockingly.
Well, we know you'd be. You'd be a point guard at most.
On a good day. Ground ball. Bordick smothers it in front of his knees. Too late to get Damian Easley, but a heck of a play by Bordick. It's the first Tiger base runner. Easley a leadoff infield single.
Well, Damian, a 2-2 count right here. Gets a fastball. He kind of rolls it over, Josh. And Bordick has got excellent range. Almost makes a play on Damian.
Roger Cedeno, remember, moved down from first to 8th in the order. Ripken way in at 3rd. Ground ball in to the second baseman Hairston. Touches up, bounces it past Conine. Cedeno is off and moving towards second. And Conine's throw is too late. Well, in a bizarre way, it's kind of like there was a sacrifice. You've got a runner at second and one out.
I'll tell you, this does not make Phil Garner happy to see Roger Cedeno come right out of the gate and swing at a pitch moving into the ground, and Damian did a good job there. You don't want to run in to the fielder because then you have an automatic double play. Damian delayed long enough, forced Jerry Hairston, the second baseman for the Orioles, to tag him and then try and rush his throw. Roger Cedeno goes on to second in scoring position.
That is scored an error, the first of the game. Unconventional, but bottom line is the Tigers have a man in scoring position for the first time. And it's a man with superior speed in Cedeno. Javier Cardona only has 11 at-bats so far this year. Tigers backup catcher. But every start that he's made has been with the knuckleballer Sparks on the mound. Again, we expect a lot of those split finger fastballs from Willis Roberts tonight. That's a pitch that has put him over the top and into the Orioles' plans. It's such a good pitch, they were talking about him as a potential closer.
Good and patient there. Now you're 2-0. Got to have an idea, I would say, right there.
But he got around too quickly and lines it foul. Wind is blowing a little bit to left field right now. Don't know if that's going to push balls foul or not, but it seems like it's gusting up to 20 or so.
A little chilly.
What'd you guess by the end of the game? 40 tonight?
Yeah, you would just say 39?
I'm going 39. That's on the corner, and that's strike 3. 2 down, bottom of the 3rd.
Javi Cardona starts out 2 balls, no strikes, has a good cut, but then takes a couple. This one here on the outside corner. Down at the lower end of the zone. Down on strikes. Gotta make the most of your opportunities when you got a man in scoring position.
Well, we've talked about how enjoyable it's been to watch Macias and the way he works the count. Not shy about taking. A little bit of what we saw from Rich Becker last year. Slapping this one, it's tipped by Roberts. Bordick keeps it alive, goes to 3rd. So they got him as Cedeno rounded too far. Lance Parrish is staring daggers through the back of Roger Cedeno.
Nothing told him to get back.
Nothing you can do as the third base coach but yell. But Cedeno was caught.
Dodge says Ram is different.
Here in the 4th inning, here at the bottom of the 3rd, and Mike Bordick with a heads-up play. We're going to take a look right here. Stop it right there. See Lance Parrish right over there? See his hand is? Saying stay right there. Roger Cedeno ran through and go ahead and play it on, and you can see a very heads-up play by Bordick. Throw to Ripken, and the Tiger rally or threat is over.
Ripken, a great job to block the bag, too. And as you mentioned, Bordick, as the scouting report suggests, heads up as always. Tigers run themselves out of a chance. Now Jay Gibbons peels this one towards left center. Encarnacion still moving as the wind takes it a bit. Well, kind of appropriate, I guess. Cal Ripken is coming to the plate. The most venerable, the most popular of Baltimore Orioles. And just as Cal strides towards the plate, who strides into our booth? But a Hall of Famer, George Kell. And we'll be visiting with George here in the 4th inning. Good to see you, Hall of Famer. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I think I need to turn that up, don't I?
How's that?
Good to hear your voice again, George.
Oh, I'm glad to be back in Detroit. I love it here.
Well, you are always welcome here. You look great.
I watch you guys every night. I want you to know that every night you're on the air, I never miss a game.
You're the one.
I have, I have DirecTV in Swifton, which you know where I live, and in Little Rock I have an apartment. I have DirecTV, and my wife says if I had a van, I'd have one in it.
Ripken sends one to center.
As long as you watch us every day and being the professional that you are, and I listened to you many times when I was here in Detroit and on the bench. I want you to critique Josh, not me.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. My wife says if you said some of the things on the air that you say watching the broadcast, they would have fired you a long time ago. But I'm not talking about the announcers. I'm talking about the game. I get put out at time because we don't drive in the run from third with less than 1 out and less than 2 outs. And get the big hit and make the big play. I don't know. I expect too much.
Yeah, can you put your finger on it, how the game's changed, though, George, from, even in the 80s or even from the first day that you broadcast a game?
No, I can't put my finger on the way the game has changed, but the players I can. I can tell a difference there.
2-1 pitch to Melvin Mora. Is down and outside.
You know, Kirk, there's nobody waiting in the minor leagues like there were when you played and I played to take your job if you were hitting 180 or 190.
Well, that's because you're getting paid $9 or $10 million. Well, they can't afford to let a minor leaguer.
That, and they don't have anybody down there. Expansion baseball has taken away so many players. I thought every day somebody was going to take my job. When I was spring training every year, I'd hear Bubba Phillips, greatest prospect the Tigers have ever had, a third baseman. And after about a week, I'd see Bubba Phillips. I'd say, hey, he's not going to take my job.
You weren't going to have any of that, were you, George?
I wasn't going to have any of that. But today, there's nobody down there like Bubba Phillips waiting to take your job. If you hit 190 up here or 230, you're going to play.
And get paid handsomely.
Yeah, handsomely. You got in on a little of that.
Just a little. I also...
Cardona blocks this one.
I was involved in the collusion.
Yeah, you were. That's right.
That kind of cut into my prime time, but I'm not complaining, George. I'm still
don't
commenting.
Complain.
I'm still commenting on baseball, trying to teach a little bit. And Josh is a little guy over there, but he's a pretty good punching bag when I get mad.
I aim to please. 2-1 the count to Fordyce.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Kaline and I sat here one night and figured out that neither one of us, and he made a lot more than I did, excuse me, neither one of us ever made $1 million total.
Total? Wow. 2 Hall of Famers. Ball gets away. And finally it's Fick who goes, along with Macias, to raise it down. The ball was just lying there for a little while. That is going to be a stolen base for Melvin Mora. As the Orioles look to get on the board first here. They've got a runner in scoring position now and 2 out.
Well, pretty hard if you're a catcher right here to get a knuckleball and get rid of it quickly. And you can see Damian tries to make a quick tag. He knows he has to do that to get Mora. Unable to make the catch. And luckily Mora doesn't see where the ball goes or he'd be standing on third.
I should have been.
Fordyce taps it off the back of the mound. Now, Mr. Kell, you don't have to go anywhere right now, do you? Can you stay for a few more minutes?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. George Kell, Hall of Fame Tiger, continues with us momentarily. There's no score at Comerica Park.
I haven't seen. On another strike. I don't know what Bobby's waiting on. A couple of fastballs.
Maybe sitting on that split finger.
Well, that's a tough pitch to sit on. It's like looking for a knuckleball. And a strike 2 to Bobby Higginson. He's batting with 1 out and nobody on. And Roberts gets ready. Very close on the outside part of the plate. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Bobby with a .300 batting average against the Baltimore club. The 1-2 pitch and another close. Oh, he's called out on strikes.
I don't think he likes that.
The other pitch was very close, and this one was just about in the same spot. And Bobby Higginson giving an argument before he leaves. I'll tell you, with 2 strikes on you, Gibby, you got to swing the bat.
Well, there's that splitter right there, George, and
I don't think it was a strike.
No, not a very good catch right there by Brooke Fordyce. Look at even a bad catch.
So there's 2 outs, nobody on, and the batter is Tony Clark, the switch hitting Tony Clark. Roberts ready, and the pitch to Clark is bounced towards second. It's going to be an easy play at first, and the Tigers go out 1-2-3 in the 4th inning.
We owe you more than a 1-2-3 inning. Can you stay for another half, or you got to meet
no, I can do it.
Can you?
I can do it. Hey,
great.
I might send you guys down to the first row of the dugout.
we might let you.
Just take over here.
We would love that, actually. No score. There was no World Series until 1903.
Come on, Josh.
I didn't make it up.
You did, Josh.
No, that one wasn't mine.
See what I put up with?
All right, back to George Kell for more play-by-play. Here we go to the 5th inning.
All right, thank you. Jerry Hairston leads it off. This guy's father played in the major leagues. Played with the White Sox. You remember?
Broke up a no-hitter, didn't he?
Broke up a perfect game from Wilcox. Remember? 2 outs in the 9th.
Sure
Wilcox had retired everybody in order, and the night was a lot colder than this night at Comiskey Park in Chicago.
How do you remember that?
I broadcast that ball game.
I played it, and I don't remember how cold it was.
Oh, I remember. This guy walked off the bench, and Kaline says, I hope he does. And I said, you cannot walk off the bench in 40-degree weather and get a base hit. He hit the first pitch like a bullet in the center field. The first pitch. Here's a swing and a miss. I can remember most of the games I broadcast, I think.
What was the best one, George, or the most memorable one?
Well, that one came close, but another one in Comiskey Park where they burned all the disc that night.
Disco Demo night.
Disco Demo, that's right.
1979.
Here's a line drive that's fouled on the left field line. You know, Kaline and I parked fairly close to the stadium, and that night we got there at the usual time, and we parked a mile and a half from the stadium, and we had to walk through this crowd of people. And he said, you know, something's not right tonight. Something's not right. It really wasn't.
A whole different smell in the air that
I
night.
could smell it in the air, yeah. Kaline could. He picked it up quickly. It's ball 3 and strike 2 to Jerry Hairston. He's the leadoff man here in the 5th. And a drive hit deep in the left. Way back goes Higginson. He's going to catch it. Higginson near the warning track. Drags it in. Jerry Hairston says, I should have been in Baltimore tonight. Would have been about 10 rows in the seats, I think.
What do you think about the bigger stadiums, George? You like the fact that they got to earn it here at Comerica Park? Or do you like the band?
I love this ballpark. I love it very much, but it's not made for our club yet. We don't have enough guys that can hit the ball like you did, and a few more power hitters.
I don't know if I could have went out of here as consistent.
Well,
from Tiger Stadium, it's you know, quite a difference. Like that overhang in right field.
Yeah. There's a pop fly that's going to be out of play. This is Brady Anderson.
Boy, he's had a great career with the Baltimore Ball Club. When he was with Boston, he couldn't do anything right. Couldn't get the ball out of the infield, no power. They traded him to Baltimore. He hit 50 one year, I think. Then he's hit by a pitch ball. So Brady Anderson is on with a hit pitch. We'll bring up Mike Bordick. What a deal this was. The Mets traded for Bordick, won the pennant with him, went into the World Series, and then he signed with Baltimore at the end of the season as a free agent. That happens every once in a while. We lost a pitcher that way, Gibson, one time to Milwaukee. Jim Campbell traded for him in August or so, and at the end of the year he was a free agent. He signed with Milwaukee again. Went right back home. Maybe made a little extra money. So a runner at first and one out here in the 5th inning. Sparks is a quick worker. I like that. He gets the ball, he's ready to go. When he gets it over the plate, it's a fast ball game. No walking around the mound, grabbing the rosin bag. Here's a strike. Threw him a fastball. Makes it a ball 2 and a strike 1 count. The Orioles have a runner at first base and one out. Bordick the batter. He'll be followed by DeShields. Sparks delivers. This one is inside, makes it ball 3. Ball 3 and strike 1.
Well, Mike Bordick probably looking for the fastball here, Josh. I pulled foul.
Did a lot of that yesterday.
Yeah, he's pulling the ball more, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Than he used to. There goes the runner, and it's ball 4. So Bordick draws a walk. He hits a man, then he walks Bordick. The Birds have runners at first and second with one out. Delano DeShields coming up.
By the way, if you're just joining us, and I don't need to tell you this, if you've spent any time in the state of Michigan, the voice you're listening to is George Kell, the Hall of Fame Tiger, who is back as part of the 100-year anniversary celebration tonight. Gibby and I are trying to coerce George into joining us when the Tigers get to St. Louis after the All-Star break. We, just figure that's the closest to Arkansas, right?
Oh, yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to be there. I'm going to make it a point.
Great.
We were all set to go once before and didn't, but we're going to be there. DeShields. Looks like a breaking pitch. I don't think it's a knuckler for a strike.
Good time for a double play ball.
Yeah, and a tough guy to double up. DeShields runs extremely well. And he gets away for just a moment. Did you get a chance to see much of the catcher we got from Houston in spring training? Did you see much of him?
Mitch Molesky?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the guy can hit if he's healthy. I tell you what, though, Brandon Inge defensively, I think, has it all over Molesky.
Boy, I like the way he throws.
Yeah, Brandon Inge, very quick release, getting the night off tonight. Javier Cardona.
I think the first game we saw Inge play through 3 base runners out. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Pitch to DeShields, foul tip into the mitt. And it's a ball 2 and a strike 2 count. Tigers need a big play. Runners at first and second, one out. Jerry Hairston opened the inning with a fly ball deep to left. Then a hit batsman and a walk. Pitch is over, but low. And it's 3-2 to the Shields. They'll probably be running. This guy makes good contact. The 3-2 pitch. They are not running, and he walked him.
Well, I tell you, kind of showing the veterans on this club of Baltimore. They've come up, like you say, George. Brady Anderson gets hit. Very selective. Mike Bordick takes a walk, and now Delano DeShields takes a walk, and Steve Sparks throwing knuckleballs on both of those 3-2 pitches.
He sure did.
We've been talking about the need for a double play, and George, I know you know this because you watch the games. The Tigers just have not been turning double plays.
They have not been. They have not been doing the little things. I talked to Phil Garner before the game. He said that and the fact that we're not getting any base runners, not nearly enough.
Yeah, Phil Garner, a true believer in on-base percentage. He knows you're going to get a few breaks, and maybe you get an error. Kind of hard to just get 4 or 5 hits in a row in this game, so a walk will do. As you see this inning developing right here, hit batsman and a couple of walks. Maybe a fly ball gets you a run.
And Jeff Conine is a good hitter. This fellow's been around a long time and has hit well everywhere he's been. He fouls this one away. No. It's a pass ball and a runner scores.
Boy, it looked like a foul tip. If Javier Cardona would have played that a little bit, got a little veteran move, George, I think he could have sold that to home plate umpire Dale Scott.
It sure looked like a foul tip, but evidently it was not. Nope.
No, he missed it.
He missed it, and so did the catcher.
Well, it's a tough way for the first run to come in. You battle 4 innings, scoreless, pass ball makes it 1-0 Baltimore.
A 1-0 ball game, and the runners move up to second and third.
Did he give him a pass ball in that?
I think it'd be a pass ball.
That's a tough one, though. That's a good knuckler.
I think you're supposed to catch the knuckler.
No matter what it is.
Yeah,
it's in
no
the air.
matter. The pitch is high, and it's ball 2 and strike 1. You know, I played back in the 40s when Washington had 4 starting pitchers that were knuckleball pitchers.
How was that?
That was tough.
Who was the best one of the 4?
Dutch Leonard. Roger Wolf was outstanding, but I thought Dutch Leonard was the best. Mickey Hafner threw the ball slower. You could handle him a little bit.
And George, you liked the slower knuckler, did you?
Yes. I didn't like the knuckler of any kind.
Now, what did you do different, though?
Well, I went to the opposite field. I tried to wait as long as I could to swing at it. There's a pitch inside. Sparks having a lot of trouble right now getting the knuckleball over. It's ball 3 and strike 2. He's walked a couple of batters this inning, hit a batter, and a pass ball, I would imagine. Got the run in. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Conine. Fly ball into right center field. I'm going to run in. Ball is caught, and on to third base goes to Shields. So it's a 2-0 ball game. Sacrifice fly for Conine. What was that pitch, Gibby?
I believe it's a fastball.
I thought so.
82 miles an hour. Sparks is throwing gas tonight.
Well, he couldn't afford to walk another batter, even though he had first base open. Jay Gibbons. Boy, he pounded one last night, didn't he? All the way to the wall and left for a left-handed hitter. That's a long drive. This is foul. In fact, he had a couple of base hits, if I remember correctly. It's a 2-0 Baltimore lead here in the 5th inning. Runner at third base with 2 outs. This 1-strike pitch is outside to Gibbons.
George, you know we're going to make you stay for the bottom of the inning. Try to get these runs back, don't you?
I think that'd be enough. I haven't brought you any luck. Here's a foul tip. Surely. haven't been any help to you.
Well, Gibby always tries to blame me for things that go wrong.
Well, you know I'm not going to blame George Kell.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you know.
It's a power play he just pulled on me.
This pitch is outside. It's ball 2 and strike 2 to Gibbons. Runner at third, 2 outs. Baltimore leads by 2. And the 2-2 pitch. A foul ball.
George, what year did you play for Baltimore? Was that 57?
I went there in June of 56 and finished my career in 57. I played all year there.
Memorial Stadium?
Memorial Stadium. Went to work for CBS in 58 with Dizzy Dean and Buddy Blattner. You remember the game of the week?
Not in 58, I don't.
I hear incredible stories about Dizzy Dean, though. That must have been some broadcast.
They were all true. I give you my word, they were all true. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That'll make it 3-2. He told Buddy Blattner and I to meet him at Toots Shores one night for dinner, and I hadn't met him then. I said, what's he going to be like when he comes in? And he said, it'd be like 76 trombones. And it was. Here's the 4th walk of the inning. 3rd walk of the inning, and a hits batsman. And the runners are at first and third. But a great guy. He had a better deal than you and Gibson have. He worked every Saturday and Sunday. That was the CBS game of the week. And in his contract, he had 6 Saturday and Sundays off, which I applauded because I got to do the play-by-play then. Before that, I just opened and closed the show for him. And a strike. This is Cal Ripken. He told me tonight before the game he's having trouble getting hits. I said, I'm not surprised. You've had enough in your career. There's the fake play. And
the old high school try right there. Fake to third. Hope to catch the guy at first going to second.
Have you ever seen it work?
No.
Pitch is high to Ripken. We saw it work one time this year, not a Tiger game. We watch them from coast to coast. This pitch is high.
In Swift and George, is everybody pretty much a Cardinal fan?
Yes, yes, oh, 100%. It's ball 2 and strike 1 to Ripken. There's one hit deep, way down in left field. This one may be gone, and it is. Cal Ripken has just hit a 3-run homer.
That's his first of the year. You got to stop talking to him.
Well, he was a little put out before the game. A 3-run homer by Ripken. Well, that's the trouble, getting that final out. The Tigers have been having a lot of trouble getting the 3rd out.
Oh, you bet. That 2-out walk to set it up.
We'll take a look. This is a knuckleball that stays up and in, and Cal Ripken stays back. Finds the seats and puts Baltimore up 5-0. That's 5 runs here in the 5th inning.
With 1 hit. 1 base hit and 5 runs. But you got to throw in 3 walks, a hits batsman, and a sacrifice fly. This is Melvin Mora. He played with the Mets last year in the World Series. Guy came to the majors as a shortstop, and now as a center fielder. But so did Mickey Mantle. He was a shortstop when he started.
Not many center fielders go to shortstop, though, do they?
Yeah, no.
Mickey Stanley did, didn't he?
Yeah, in the World Series. In the World Series of '68. Here's a walk. Melvin Mora gets a walk.
No action, George, in the Tiger bullpen, at least not yet.
They're stirring right now, Josh.
And it's funny, we were just talking the other day about the Go-Go White Sox of 1959. And we just passed the anniversary a couple days ago of the day they got 11 runs on one hit in one inning. And you just mentioned it, the Orioles, they've got 5 runs in on one hit in this inning.
You know, Gibby, you were talking about Stanley. We were all so nervous, I was, about Stanley playing in shortstop. Lou Brock led off for the Cardinals, and he hit a ground ball to the right of Stanley, which is tough enough if you hit it right at him hard to throw him out. Mickey went over and backhanded the ball and threw him out, and I think everybody in the Tiger family sighed relief right there. He struck him out, and the inning is over, but they pick up 5 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Baltimore leads at 5-0.
Tire, nobody comes close, nobody's closer. Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse, Lowe's improving home improvement. And by GMC, from professional grade people come professional grade trucks. Across the street from the Fox Theater, Comerica Park. And unfortunately, the Orioles now up 5-0, a 5-run 5th inning, with the guy that used to write number 5 next to his name in the lineup. At the mic, George Kell, the Hall of Famer. We're looking at a future Hall of Famer there, and Mr. Ripken. He hit the 3-run home run, but George Kell joins us again, trying to get the Tigers back in it. Back to you, Mr. Kell.
All right, Josh, thank you. Debbie Cruz leads it off. Sparks in 5 innings made 109 pitches. 48 of those was in the 5th inning. Wow. Now that tells you something. Here's a drive into left field that's going to be caught by DeShields. Well, Debbie Cruz is out on the 2nd pitch. And there's 1 away in the 5th. Encarnacion, am I saying that right?
Encarnacion.
Encarnacion.
We tried to get him to change it, George, but
yeah, he could have eliminated a few letters, made it easier on you guys. You know, I handle that. I give his right name the first time or two, and then he's Juan from there on out. Here's Juan. He swings and misses at a curveball.
But we tried that last year, but we have Juan Gonzalez, too, so we couldn't get away with it.
Well, Gonzalez, you can say that. Roberts has had a great night. Doesn't seem to be overpowering, but he gets his pitches over. There's a foul ball that's going to be out of play. There's strike 2 to 1. He had an RBI. Damon easily is hit by a pitch ball. I tell you, he stands right on top of the plate, and you've got to be in a hurry. I stood right on top of the plate. That's the only way I could hit.
How many times did you get a hit during the course of a season?
Not that many. Not that many, really. I'll tell you.
I'd like to see you turn away this way.
Turn away like you explained last night. And another thing, it makes you more aggressive with the bat. If the pitch is over the inside corner, you can turn on it. I had 56 doubles one year, and I believe 40 of them went right down the left field line. I think the only man that I really believe in baseball that hit me intentionally was a pitcher with the Yankees. Tall, good pitcher, too. Can't think of his name right now. I had it on the tip of my tongue a moment ago. But I faked him out in Boston in a tie ball game in the 9th inning. Nothing. I was a leadoff man, and I ducked on the first pitch like I was looking for a base on balls. And then I got ready, and he came inside with a fastball, and I hit it up in the screen. We went to New York about 2 weeks later, and the first pitch he drilled me right on the wrist. Vic Reishi, remember Vic Reishi? Yeah. He could throw hard, mean, and I just tried it to first, but I didn't play anymore. I broke my wrist. I really believe that's the only man who ever hit me on purpose. I thought he was saying, hey, you uked me out once, but not again.
Yeah, don't do that again.
No, don't do me that way again. 3-0. That's the count on Cedeno. The pitch is high. He walked him. Hey, I got you a couple of base runners. No base hits, but a couple of base runners. Damon Easley hit by a pitch ball. Cedeno walks. Cardona is the batter.
Looks like Mark Wiley on his way out there. Have a little conversation with Willis Roberts.
He's probably telling you, hey, we got you 5 runs in the top of this inning, and that's when you should get them out 1, 2, 3.
Kind of a similar inning right now. A hit batsman and a walk. See if the Tigers can't score 5 runs on a hit, as the Orioles did in the top of the inning.
And by the way, that 3-run home run by Ripken. Note passed to us that Cal Ripken has just gotten into a 19th place tie all time with Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks. Same number of RBI, 1,636.
Yeah, you mentioned that last night, or John did, or somebody, that he liked 1 RBI being tied with Ernie Banks. Pretty good company. 2 on and 2 outs as Cardona waits on a pitch, and it's low. Roberts gets ready, and the pitch is in for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. They play him fairly deep, pretty much straight away. And he hits it hard to third. Easy play. Out at second, and the inning is over.
Well, George, we didn't get runs, but at least we had you in the booth, and we expect in St. Louis things will turn around a little bit. We can't wait to see you there.
Gang, I enjoyed it very much.
Thanks, Mr.
Enjoyed
Kell.
it.
Thanks,
Kurt,
George.
take care.
You too.
The Hall of Famer George Kell joining us on the broadcast. Tigers celebrating 100 years in the American League. We'll be back after this. There's baseball and a limited edition game program available only till this Sunday, April 29th. Reserve your copy at in-park Tigers retail locations or by calling 1-800-221-2324. And the official 100-year anniversary is today/tonight. April the 25th of 1901 is when it all got going in the American League for the Tigers.
Boy, I just heard a voice I'd fight for.
Yeah, you and me both. Humbling having George Kell in the booth. I mean, that's the TV voice that I grew up with. Ernie on the radio.
Just a vintage. His vintage sounds and calls.
Hairston, a little loop shot towards left. That's going to drop in, base hit. Get the same feeling listening to George when I listen to Ernie. You know, I could try 100 years.
I agree.
Just not going to sound like that. Anyway, thanks to Mr. Kell for coming in. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as we did. The only problem is 5 came in while Mr. Kell was in. 5 in the top of the 5th on just 1 hit. As Brady Anderson comes to the plate, and Matt Anderson starting to get ready in the Tiger bullpen. Brady Anderson, a real student of the game, and a guy that proclaims his childhood hero was Ted Williams, even though he wasn't alive when Ted Williams was playing. Launching that one to right field, and Cedeno was there to track it. Tiger historians might remember that George Kell shaded Ted Williams for the batting title a little more than 50 years ago. Last Sunday of that season, 1949, Ted Williams had taken an 0 for 2 in New York earlier in the day. A game that decided the AL pennant in New York, and George Kell was ahead of Williams, barely. And was on deck for the Tigers with 1 on, 1 out, ready to hit in the Tiger 9th. But Eddie Lake hit into a game-ending double play, so George never had to bat with the title on the line, although he was certainly ready to do that, which you admire. No way he was going to be pinch hit for it.
Interesting to hear George's views on the way he liked to hit, Josh. Standing on the plate. I like to tuck him in the corner. You can tell that George Kell's still a great connoisseur and historian of the game, can't you? Boy, he follows it.
Shallow right, Cedeno calling off Damian Easley. Folks, we remind you Detroit Sports Tonight provides the only extensive early evening look at the day's news and events on the local sports scene. It's presented by Verizon. It is Detroit Sports Tonight tomorrow at 6:30 in the p.m. on Fox Sports Net. One on, two out for Delano to Shields. He's been on base 3 times, single and a pair of walks. Tigers have been humbled tonight by a guy that they reared in their organization, Willis Roberts. Tiger minor league lifer for 7 years. He's got a 2-hit shutout through 5. Tigers were humbled yesterday by a Detroit native, Pat Henkin.
Willis Roberts came in tonight's game, though, 2-0, Josh, with a 1.23 ERA.
Just as we gave credit to Henkin last night for a job well done, from all accounts, Roberts has really worked hard to fashion himself into what he's become now. Good fastball, good splitter. DeShields rolling this one to Damian Easley. Should be the inning. And it is. Robert Fick will bat coming up for the Tigers. He'll bat second after Macias. Tigers need to go to work.
Imagine a financial resource.
Very high pop fly. Juan Samuel vacates the coach's box. Didn't really need to do that, it turns out.
Guy tried to get out of the way, and boy got hit right on top. He didn't protect him. Gee. Folks, you gotta protect your children. Tell you what, drape yourself right over the top of your child if you come down here in a pop-up.
Count 1-2 to Jose Macias. And he tips it away foul. We stay at 1-2. Well, medical personnel arriving on the scene. Hopefully everything's okay down there. 1-2 from Roberts to Macias. And another pop-up. The hits in this game are 4-2. The Orioles with the 4, the Tigers with the 2. Damian Easley had an infield single. Jose Macias had an infield single. That was in the 3rd, and that was it. On the ground to second. Tigers have been hitting a lot of balls on the ground. Robert Fick, though, has been starting to hit the ball in the air pretty well for power.
Got a hold of this one for a home run. That was in Cleveland. This one last night. Ball was jumping. Like to turn that into a 3-runner or a granny, though.
By the way, Gibby, 40 degrees right now, we're told. So if that holds, you're a winner.
Yeah, it's getting colder.
Well, there's one of those high strikes. Called by Dale Scott. Pop fly heading out of play. Only 2 fly ball outs induced by Roberts, 2 strikeouts, and we mentioned it just seems like the Tigers rolling over on a lot of pitches tonight. 11 ground outs. Tigers have wandered back into that ridiculous day of doom Wednesday. Remember that from last year? What were they, 5-20 on Wednesdays? We tried all year to figure that out. 0-2 coming in tonight on Wednesdays. And actually, you go back to September of the season before last year, Tigers have won 5 of their last 30 Wednesday games. So we've scratched our heads trying to figure out what it is about, what do the radio DJs call it? Hump day. You got to get over that hump in the middle of the week. Fick! Oh! God. Willis Roberts goes down.
Can you believe that?
And Fick is out. And hopefully Willis Roberts is okay.
I don't think that hit him solid, did it? Hit him on the hand, actually. I think he got his hand up.
Thank goodness he did. Yeah, the hand is what they're looking at. But boy, I mean, that was headed. And Robert Fick.
Robert Fick is limping.
Yeah, it looked like he might have tweaked a hamstring on his way down. But what a scary feeling that's got to be for everybody, Robert Fick included.
Robert goes down and gets this.
Oh, man.
Lucky he got that glove up. That was headed right for his face.
Oh, I mean, you know what that's reminiscent of, scarily? Remember when Mr. Gore threw batting practice here last September and Robert Fick took one up the middle like that? Robert said he had that sinking feeling when he hit that ball and the vice president didn't duck behind the screen. Thankfully, Mr. Gore did get out of the way, and thankfully Willis Roberts.
Well, look at Roberts running hard, and then you're going to see him just shut it down. See him? He tweaked something. It looks like maybe in his left leg. I know Robert will not come out easily.
Now, Richie Bansells, the Oriole trainer, continues to look over Willis Roberts. Boy, what a scary moment. And what's amazing about this, I mean, what if Willis Roberts is just fine and continues, and Robert Fick is the guy that gets hurt on that play? You talk about a snake-bitten ball club. I mean, wow. Well, thank goodness Willis Roberts is all right.
And the Tigers' luck, of course, it bounced right to the second baseman, Jerry Hairston.
Let's see if we can acquire an injury report on Robert Fick, too. Higginson drives one to right center. The wind knocks it down, and it's an easy play out there for Melvin Moore. The Tigers, not going well. 5-0 Orioles. Half that age in this game. He's made a couple nice plays at third. And there went his first home run of this season. That was in that 5-run 5th inning.
Better get those hands back a little quicker now, Cal. Went from 60 to 95.
that's a great stat right there. Just like Al Kaline, the beauty of his career, the consistency of it. Of course, if you missed it earlier tonight, Mr. Kaline and Mr. Kell both, they threw out the honorary first pitches tonight. One 100-year anniversary of Tigers American League Baseball. You got a guy that throws 100 on a good night out there on the mound in Matt Anderson.
Pretty good game over in Boston. Good matchup. Brad Radke taking on Pedro Martinez. Pedro struck out 10 through 6.
Is that all?
Yeah. Lost it up by a run.
Well, we'll find out a little bit about the Minnesota Twins as they go to Fenway. They lost yesterday. Carl Everett had a grand slam early on. That stood up. Red Sox, Mariners, and Twins, the top 3 teams in baseball right now. In the AL anyway. Ripken with a pop-up. By the way, that young gentleman that was hit by the ball last inning looks like he's going to be okay, thankfully. You look in the National League right now, it's the Phillies and the Cubs who are the top 2 teams. On the ground to third. Macias loops the throw. Got him.
Ooh.
Didn't have a lot on it.
Didn't have a lot of time.
Thankfully, it was Jeff Conine who was doing the running, not the fleetest Baltimore Oriole. So with 2 out, it brings up Melvin Mora. How are things with Melvin Mora? Well, he
likes Detroit.
He loves Detroit. You mentioned it, Gibby. He hit .440 against the Tigers last year. 2 walks in the game tonight. Yesterday, a couple of hits, including a double.
Slider right there. You can see Matt Anderson gets that arm angle a little low and flat. Not a lot of break there. Very dangerous pitch to hang. Another one.
Anderson was willed the Doug Brocail role this year, but he has yet to make it his own. That 8th inning role. One on, 2 out. The 1-2 is up and in. By the way, Gibby, first spill of a Diet Pepsi.
Don't bring it over here by me now. You spill it and then you put it by me.
Yeah, 19 games though it took me to spill my first Diet Pepsi though. That's better than last year. Sorry.
Another slider by Matt, unable to get it over. Really surprises me you spilled that.
I'm blotting it with your wallet. I hope you don't mind. 3-2 pitch. Wow, that might have been the best pitch of the inning. Anderson is out of trouble. Orioles do not score, but it is a 5-0 lead for them. We send it back to the Fox Network Center for a sports break. But
exactly, and that's the way it's going for the Tigers. Davies' ball is foul, and then Juan takes this fastball. Good approach, really striking the ball good. Pretty good pop right there, and Juan gets running. He's moving around pretty good. Third base, 1 out. Damon Easley must get him in. Got to pick up another run here. See if the Tigers can't make a run at the Orioles. Here with almost 3 innings to go.
First 2 extra base hits of the night have been here in the 7th. Damian Easley had an extra base hit last night. It was a triple. Tonight, infield hit, and he's been hit by a pitch.
Looks like Roberts has really tried to throw Damian inside with that fastball, crowding him, hit him the last time.
Line shot skips foul.
What did that hit?
Something on the dugout.
Lucky that didn't go straight into the stands.
Well, we've talked about this being the 100-year anniversary for the Tigers in the American League, and we've mentioned that they made an incredible comeback in their first ever American League game. They trailed 7-0 and 13-4. 100 years later to the date, Tigers only have to come back from down 5-0. They are down 5-1 right now. Let's see if they can continue it. Did it hit him again? It did. Second time in a row that Damian has been hit. Well, hang on here.
He called it a foul ball.
And here comes Phil Garner. This is going to be a nice little argument. Damian Easley saying, look here, I got a bruise already.
He said he's pointing to his ear. He says, I heard it hit the bat. Not going to win it, Damian. And Roberts keeps throwing Damian up and in. And if I was Damian, I'd be talking to the catcher and saying, look, you come in there again, we may have a little retaliation. Good time for Gar to get a little pumped up, too. Maybe this will jumpstart his team.
Oh, yep, there it goes. First ejection of the year.
Keep that saliva in your mouth, Gar.
Great snap. Now the fans are all on their feet.
Don't bump him.
Some money's worth here, Phil Garner. Frustration boiling over. Damian Easley, mild-mannered as they come. I mean, he jumped up. He was right in the face of Dale Scott, too.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, Damian, check that bat. I think Gar broke it. I think he broke it.
Ovation that we've heard at Comerica Park in a long time is for Phil Garner.
Well, let's hear if we can hear it. Let's hear it. We Hill. That sounded like meat to me. Huh?
It did to me too. And now Damian strikes out. Doug Mansolino has the lineup card now. He is the acting manager. Boy, a couple of rotten breaks in this inning.
That's a big strikeout. Man on third, 1 out.
Damian's hand is not convinced that he did not get hit by that pitch. Tigers trying to squeak that runner home from third. Roger Cedeno late on the fastball. Roger 0 for 1. He has reached on an error and on a walk. 0-2 pitch. Loop to left, but there's DeShields. Well, the Tigers will settle for the run on the leadoff homer by Tony Clark, but nothing besides that. Phil Garner ejected, arguing. 5-1 Baltimore. Folks, tomorrow America's Pastime comes to Fox Family with Thursday Night Baseball. Darren Erstad and the Angels against Jim Thome and the Indians. And Saturday on FX, A-Rod and the Rangers. What is it, like BJ and the Bear? A-Rod and the Rangers taking on Juan Gonzalez and the Indians. We hope you can join us for that. 5-1 game as we enter the 8th. Matt Anderson facing Brooke Fordyce.
What do we got here? Umpire needs baseballs.
Hits for the Orioles, 4 for the Tigers. And the Tigers had a pretty good chance in the bottom of the 7th. Got just the 1 run. Well, the night started with a lot of promise, a lot of fun. I hope you got a chance to see the pregame show tonight, honoring the 100 years of Tiger baseball. A lot of former Tigers came back to participate in the ceremonies. We hope to check in with 1 or 2 more before the night is done. I want to thank George Kell again for coming in. Rip and a miss by Fordyce. He's out of there.
Nasty pitch right there. I'm not exactly sure what this is. This might be that split finger pitch that Matt threw a little bit last year. Get this ball just goes straight down. I don't know if that's a slider. We'll have to ask Matt if he's been working on that.
Number 9 hitter, Jerry Hairston Jr. And the second baseman is 1 out of 3 in this one tonight. Momentarily, we're going to introduce you to another of the all-time Tiger greats. It's been a pretty cool night in terms of the nostalgia angle. Could do with a better score right now. It's 5-1 Orioles. C.J. Nitkowski is up in the bullpen, and bullpen is where we're going with this segue. Great to have John Hiller with us.
Took a day off of golf, huh?
Well, it was just melting up north. Golf. Yeah, we did. We had a round in Monday. Our club opened Monday, so I took my wife out, got that 1 round out of the way.
Well, you know, we were talking to George Kell. We get a chance to scoot you into here now and talk about days gone by. I mean, I wish we could talk about some better tidings about the current construct. The Tigers only 5 wins so far.
Yeah.
What do you see, John, out there?
Well, I watch you guys every night. That you know, up north, we're on Fox, of course, and I think the injuries that they had early it disrupted the whole lineup. It disrupted the defense of the team, and it put everybody in a bind. And they got off to a slow start, and they're struggling right now.
It was said about you a lot, and it was meant as a compliment, I hope, that you did so much with moderate talent. I mean, you know, people. I'm trying to say it the night.
That's I'll kill him. For you later.
No,
that's okay.
I mean it as a compliment. I mean, obviously you had great stuff, but I mean, but you also you found a way to get the job done when other guys maybe had a harder fastball or whatever.
Who told you all that? Did you ever see me pitch? Or were you still?
I did actually.
Still in kindergarten.
No, I was in kindergarten, but I was a Tiger fan.
No, I think Eddie Matthews, and you're probably correct. Eddie Matthews said this best, Novi. He said John Hiller has more guts than he does talent, so maybe that's where it all stems from.
That was a quote that I know I remember, but and believe me, I didn't mean to imply that you're a no-talent guy. You're obviously you're the Tigers' all-time leader in career saves. Although your friend Mr. Jones is looking like he's going to bogart that one away from you too.
Well, it should. You know, the way the game is now, it's totally different. And you know, Mike Henneman caught up awful quick as far as lifetime saves, and that's just where the game is now.
You and Todd Jones seem to be kindred spirits in many ways. I mean, Todd would tell you there are guys that have a harder fastball, but he gets by on guts and guile, it seems, as well.
Well, I watch. He's got good stuff. He locates the ball well when he's pitching well, and he goes out there with the right attitude. You just have to pitch each one game at a time, one batter at a time, and he doesn't let his last outing affect him, whether it's a win or a loss.
John Hiller, by the way, 1973, 10 wins along with those 38 saves. 2-2 to Brady Anderson, punch towards center. And that'll end the inning. John, can you hang with us for a couple more minutes?
Sure, glad to.
That'll be awesome. Love to keep chatting with you. Maybe we'll even see Todd Jones before the night is done. That'll be nice. 5-1, Baltimore right now. Mickey York.
All right, Josh, thank you very much. Coming up on the show tonight, Ken Daniels will drop by and give his thoughts on the Red Wings playoff collapse. He'll also let us know what's in store for this team this summer. We'll also take a look back at 100 years of Tigers baseball in the American League, and in conjunction with that, we'll ask you, the fan, who your favorite Tiger is. We'll also see if Phil Garner is calmed down by then. That's all coming up tonight on your Detroit Sports Report following the game. Josh?
All right, Mick, thank you very much. Here is Buddy Groom, one-time Tiger, into the game in relief of Willis Roberts.
Wetzel Groom.
Yeah, he prefers Buddy. Can't say that I blame him. Getting into his 8th game, and again, just a fine segue as we look at a reliever with a sparkling ERA, and we've got John Hiller in the booth with us for a few more minutes. So you were telling us, John, that this is, I didn't realize, your first time at Comerica Park.
Yes, wife and I came early tonight. Guard wouldn't let us in before 5 o'clock. He was just doing his job. But we walked the park. It's a beautiful facility. I'll be back. We had some deaths in the family last year, and it wasn't the right time to come and celebrate baseball. But park sure is beautiful. You guys have a great venue here too.
This is gorgeous. I mean, you know, what a place to come to work. You know,
good place to pitch, don't you think?
Oh, I'd love it. Like I was saying, I think 2/3 of my home runs would have been out. So out there left field, a beautiful place to pitch.
2 balls, no strikes, a count to Cardona. Who are some of the guys, John, that you keep in touch with from your Tiger days?
Well, you know, it's just through fantasy camp. You know, all the 68 fellas that are still around, and half of the 84. I get back for the odd charity function in Detroit, but I think Kurt will agree. We don't stay in touch that much by way of telephone calls and writing. I think maybe fellas are traded so much over the years, but we see each other. I saw Murray over there at Baltimore. I didn't like him when I played against him. We gave each other a hug. So, and Elrod, everybody liked Elrod, and I saw him out there. It was nice to see him. But you know, it's a fraternity all over, as I think most of us have said.
Yeah, you know, we have a softball charity game against the Wings every year, John. I want to have to get you down here to pitch for us.
Oh, thanks.
We'll see if you still got it.
Yeah.
Now, we kicked their butts last year, so
yeah, that's all I need is a slap shot back in the knee.
John Hiller down from the Upper Peninsula to enjoy the ball game tonight. We're here whining about 40 degrees, by the way. It's a day in the park for you.
A short sleeve weather up north.
Cardona, base hit right center to get the bottom of the 8th going. Well, hopefully with a new pitcher out there, maybe that's the tonic. Tigers came up with just 1 run on 4 hits against longtime Tiger farmhand Willis Roberts tonight.
John, why don't you tell us, you know, you were one of kind of an early era of the closer. Here you're in the bottom of the 8th, say if you're Baltimore. What are you thinking as a closer right now?
Well, bottom of the 8th, and I've got, what, a 4-run lead? They're going to see fastballs. Even I'm not a fastball pitcher. I'm going to throw 2 strikes and maybe work in a little off speed, but I guarantee I'm going to get ahead and make them hit the ball.
Not going to walk anybody,
No,
huh?
sir. And I'm not going to try and get tricky.
Macias broke his bat. That's the second one he's broken in this series. He pops to first.
There's something that's changed, John, since you played in the game. You know, they used to make bats out of ash. Now they're going with that maple, that hard maple. And you see how that bat just, it used to splinter when you hit a bat off a ball off the end of the bat. Look, I bet you this ball's right off the end of the bat.
Yeah,
yes,
sure
it is. I tell you, I've said it several times on our telecast. I hope nobody gets hit with one of those sharp objects on the field or in the stands this year. What was wrong with the ash? They used them all this year. This isn't golf where you can just change the equipment, is it?
I don't know. I think you're right. You know, usually you broke a bat when you hit them on the handles.
Well, here's Robert Fick, who has been the Tigers' most consistent hitter this year, although tonight moved to the 2-hole for the first time. He's taken an over.
Tweaked that hammy in his last at bat. Robert stays in the game. When you're fighting for a job, that's a good way to go.
Yeah, Robert strikes me as the kind of guy that would not eagerly leave any ball game. Hits are even at 5 now. And Robert Fick works the count to 3-0. Again, we're visiting with John Hiller on a special night here at Comerica Park. Which vintage automobile did you get to ride in before the game?
You're asking me questions. Let's talk baseball. I don't know.
Okay.
I was in a convertible. It was green. No, it was a Ford. I know it was a Ford because the guy gave me a hat that said Ford on it. So
All right, got it. Green Ford, no roof.
No roof.
All I needed to know.
That's what they had. That was in the 7th car. I mean, they had it all traced out for us. You're in car number 7.
We'll get a pinch runner now. Ryan Jackson comes in for Robert Fick. So again, with that hamstring, not taking any chances. Get Robert out of the game, get Ryan Jackson in. Ryan's been pretty much just a pinch runner so far. He's been with the Tigers pretty much all year, save for, well, 6 days down to Toledo.
What do you think, Gratzel? This is where I'd like to see it if I was Bobby Higginson, right there.
Okay.
What do you think?
Close to there.
Bring it up a little bit. Huh?
Yeah. Well, you're thinking right now 5-1, 2-1. You know, you're looking to drive the ball if you're the hitter. Of course, if you're John Hiller, you're thinking about keeping it down there where Buddy Groom did.
Zapped in there again. Another fastball. It's 0-2. A couple of former teammates here. Buddy Groom, Bobby Higginson.
And myself and John Hiller.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were referring to.
Oh, well, yeah, up here too.
You can see they've got Bobby shaded. Right here's the center fielder. He's shaded over. Obviously looking at throwing Higgy away. Higgy off the dish also. What do you see a player off the plate like that, John? Does that encourage you to throw it away?
Well, I like that. I had trouble with the fellas that got up in the dish. It sort of took a lot of the plate away from me. But, yeah, when they were away, I think more it depends on, Kurt, how they advance into the ball. If they're stepping into it, then I throw them inside. Now, if they're stepping straight out or pulling off a bit, then I do throw them away. You know, Roberto Clemente, he used to stand way off the plate and dive into the ball, and you couldn't pitch him away. You had to pitch him inside. So the stride always meant a lot to me, and Bill Freehand used to pick that up, as did Lance Parrish for me.
So you're basically saying if this foot comes this way, you're going to throw him inside.
And I'm coming
if
inside.
it comes this way, you're going to throw him outside.
Right, he can't handle that ball the way he's off the plate like that. He's striding the other way.
Broken bat, but it dies a hero. 1 run scores. And they're windmilling home the pinch runner Jackson. He will score. On a double by Bobby Higginson. And the tying man is coming to the plate. It'll be Tony Clark.
Pretty good at bat. Another bat goes down. They're trying to get it away. It's really right over the heart of the plate right here. Higgy tucks it down in the corner.
Look at that bat.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
You didn't see many of those in your whole career break like that. Mike Hargrove's probably going to come out and turn Tony Clark around. Tony hitting only 161 from the left side, 467 coming into the game from the right side.
Chad Peranto is coming in. John, I'm sorry, we can't let you leave now. I mean, you know,
we finally found somebody who's hot.
I say we come back here, I might have a job, huh? 3 in a booth?
That's fine for me. Here comes Peranto. Tigers looking to tie.
The Tigers may be in a slump, but they have plenty to celebrate tonight on the team's 100th anniversary.
There was a scary shot off the bat of Robert Fick in the 6th inning, off of Willis Roberts' hand and glove, as it turned out. The Comerica game summary reads this way. Note, Tony Clark's got a home run already. And here he is right now with a chance to deliver. He is the tying man. Chad Peranto is the new pitcher. Mike Hargrove rightfully wants to turn Tony Clark around here. Tony hitting .467 against lefties.
Got to believe they're going to keep the ball away from Tony. He's already put one in the bullpen, and again you can see why Mike Hargrove has turned Tony around. Peranto, pretty much a sinking fastball slider guy. Does have a change.
The rookie deals. Good pitch to Tony Clark. 1-2.
A lot of movement on that pitch right there. It's nasty stuff there, isn't it, John?
That's a great pitch right there.
I mean, there's a lot of movement there. And Tony has not hit against Peranto before, so that's a pretty tough assignment for Tony. He's going back out there again. Tell you what, this is as a hitter. This is a time when I'm cheating and I'm peeking at the catcher. If he's setting up outside out there, I'm thinking sinker.
You're peeking.
Yep, you're dang right I'm peeking.
You get one in the ear.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't tell you I was peeking. That's when you get 2 strikes on you, wait till you get set, you call timeout, and you act like you're looking at the umpire. You look down at the catcher. I'll tell you when, right? As soon as he moves, you can say, well, timeout, timeout. Step right out.
Got him. Same pitch that was strike 2 as strike 3. 2 down in the inning.
They'll get good, hard sinker right here and down in the zone. Tony can't reach it. Tony will be better prepared next time around for this with this youngster. Now Davy Cruz, this is a tough pitch for a right-handed hitter to hit. They don't like it when it's chasing your toes like that.
Davy tonight, a bounce out, a fly out, a strikeout. It's about every possible way you can make an out, so the only thing left is to get on base. He is a tying man, bottom of the 8th inning. Ripken can't get it. It's down into left field. The run's coming home. Gotta love Baltimore chops that are literally against the Baltimore Orioles. And Juan Encarnacion is now the go-ahead man coming to the plate.
Well, Davey finally catches a break right here. This sinker didn't sink. Cal Ripken, no vertical. See Bobby just getting that bag with the tip of his toe. Now, when Willis Robert got hit with that pitch, or that liner, do you have one of those, Ratzo?
We were talking about that. I got hit on a pinky finger, took 6 stitches, and pitched 2 days later.
On your left hand?
On my left hand, and I taped it together with flesh-colored tape, and I went and pitched 2 days later.
Did you get raked, or did you pitch effectively?
I pitched the greatest game of my life.
Yeah, a little extra movement.
But then a week later, I tried to put the tape on intentionally. I got ripped. Doesn't pay to.
Well, you know, I got hit in the mouth one time and had 30-some stitches in my mouth. Demanded that I play, hit a home run, then went 2 for 42. So, you know, sometimes we get a little too tough, don't we?
I guess so.
Chatting with John Hiller, one of the all-time Tiger greats. As the Tigers look to rally against the Baltimore bullpen. 3 runs already in the inning. Maybe in honor of John Hiller. There's your man. There's Todd Jones up in the bullpen now, along with C.J. Nitkowski.
Now, John, if you were Chad Peranto and you had that good sinker going, like this youngster right here does. Would you throw anything else? Would you try and trick him, or would you just keep burying it down and in like that?
That sinker going to be right down and inside to that right-hander. Now, if that's his best pitch, I haven't seen him pitch before, and if that's his best pitch, his main pitch, then it's when he's got to go right here. He's got the...
I think if you're a Tiger hitter, you got to hope he hangs you a slider, though. I don't like that pitch coming down and in like that.
Or you got to hope that sinker's just up a little bit so you can get under it a little.
Coming in there again.
Another busted bat, and that one goes for a base hit. Cruz hesitated, but now he's off to third as the tying run. Third broken Tiger bat of the inning, but 2 hits. And now Damian Easley will come up.
Well, again, another busted bat. You can see that ball tails in on the trademark. Look at David Cruz. Hesitates, picks up his third base coach. On to third. Time for Gapper.
Well, we mentioned it in passing a couple innings ago, this being the 100th anniversary of the first ever Tigers game in the American League. And in that one, they were down not 5-0, but 7-0. They were down 13-4 going into the bottom of the 9th, and they won with a 10 spot. So a rally not too dissimilar here. It happens in the late innings.
Tigers have sent 7 to the plate this inning, Josh. 3 runs on the board so far.
Now, Willis Roberts was done after 7 innings. Tigers finally get into that Baltimore bullpen. Mark Wiley having had a word with Chad Pirano.
Now, Damian Easley has been getting thrown inside all day. This is when it's time to make an adjustment. You know he's coming in there. You've watched him pitch to your teammates. You don't want to miss it.
Looked like he was a little ready for that group.
This would be a great spot for Damian Easley to...
He's had a tough night. You're right. This is what's great about the game. Gives you a chance to redeem yourself. Slider. See, when that catcher moves up, first pitch we've watched him, the catcher set up on the outside part of the plate. And I believe that's one of the first sliders we've watched. See Eddie Murray.
Yep. He's trying to signal to Brady Anderson. Has been trying to signal this entire sequence to move over and in a little bit. Brady finally does at least half that. He has moved over but not in. It's 2-1.
Now this is interesting. Toronto's got a very good sinker. Damian Easley, a good fastball hitter, not a good breaking ball hitter. Toronto has changed to his second best pitch. John, now do you ever do that, or do you say, hey, I got a good sinker, I'm sticking with my best stuff. I don't care if you can hit my best pitch.
Well, I don't think maybe with a Damian Easley. I remember I had to adjust to a Rod Carew or a third baseman with Kansas City. You know, they were throw 300-plus hitters, and I had to try it. I went to my third pitch if it was their weakness, but no, in a general rule, you don't. But, you know, I mean, he might be tired of breaking bats with a good sinker, too, and maybe decide to go with something else.
Right.
So, you know, he might be playing mind games with himself out there.
Well, the count is ballooned to 3-1.
8th hitter for the Tigers here in the 8th.
He works the walk, and the bases are loaded. The Tigers rallying with their manager watching on TV in the clubhouse. Bill Garner was ejected from the game last time Damian Easley was up. That was in the 7th when the Tigers were attempting to rally.
I don't know how comfortable you are if you're Mike Hargrove right now with a rookie on the mound, but nobody up in the pen. Roger Cedeno up at the plate. Get a good one, make him elevate that sinker. He's probably been down there in the runway. They've got a TV up there. Or up in the clubhouse. He's got to have bats like he did in Cleveland.
Ground ball, but Bordick moves over, touches up, and the inning is over. John Hiller, thank you so much. Got the Tigers 3 runs.
All right, Josh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you.
Kurt, always good to see you, buddy. Okay.
It's a ball game, guys. 5-4. Tigers trail the Orioles. Todd Jones takes over on the mound. And suffice to say, a slow start for Jonesy. The ERA of 8.53. 2 losses already.
Even though the Tigers trailing by a run, I'm sure Jonesy on the phone saying, I want to go in. You never catch Jonesy running from a situation.
Bordick, DeShields, and Conine, the veteran 2-3-4 part of the Baltimore order. Crowd announced tonight at 18,919. Ball is yanked down the left field line. Mike Bordick towards the pole. He buries it into the crowd for a home run.
Breaking pitch.
Well, the last time that Todd Jones pitched, he gave up the home run to Jim Thome to end a ball game. And the very next time he comes out, his first act is to allow a home run.
Well, off-speed pitch here. Yeah, it's a hanging breaking ball up in the zone. And Bordick jumps all over it. Orioles get a run back, now up 6-4.
Ripken earlier tonight hit his first home run. Now Bordick has his first home run of the year. Hopefully that doesn't dim the enthusiasm of the Tigers hitters as they'll look to rally again in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, Javier Cardona is scheduled to hit. Got to believe we're going to see a pinch hitter, maybe Billy Millen.
Then it'll be back to that revamped top of the order, but here's a walk to DeShields. 3rd walk collected by DeShields tonight.
Very patient. Hasn't even taken the bat off his shoulder hardly.
The Tigers have walked 7 in this game tonight. Doug Mansolino, remember, the acting manager in place of Phil Garner. Phil certainly got his money's worth, ejected, arguing. It looked like Phil was completely in the right.
Sounded like it too.
Yeah, we played it back. Listened in. What was in question was whether or not Damian Easley got hit on the hand with a pitched ball or whether the ball was fouled. Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, said foul. Looked and sounded like it was the other way.
Looks like Todd Jones having trouble getting the ball down tonight.
By the way, Minnesota and Boston 3-3 in the 9th. 2 of the top 3 teams in the AL right now. Ground ball, Davy Cruz going to get it. Steps on the bag and throws, and the Tigers get 2. We've talked about the need to start getting more ground balls, turn more double plays. Tigers still dead last in Major League Baseball, but they're finally out of single digits, turning their 10th of the year.
Jeff Conine, a pretty good candidate. He doubles up quite often. Complies for the Tigers there.
Jones to Jay Gibbons.
See Gibbons trying to pull that outside pitch. Last night he was hitting that pitch the other way.
4 hits for Gibbons in the game yesterday. Jonesy ahead of him 0-2.
Jonesy tried to get that ball deep inside and left it out over the plate. Struggling with his location.
I've got to tell you, just as some foreshadowing, I guess, that the Baltimore closer, Ryan Kohlmeyer, same thing. He allowed 3 runs in the 9th inning Sunday.
I like it. We'll take 3.
And he is getting ready for the Orioles right now. Rip and a miss. Jones roars back and gets him. 1 run in the inning, though. That on the Bordick leadoff home run to extend the lead to 6-4. And here come the Tigers now, bottom of the 9th.
NASCAR on FX. Get your motor running with some wide open action. Saturdays are born to be wild on FX. What? You don't get FX? Well, you're missing the ultimate NASCAR experience every Saturday on FX. So close to the action, you'll feel the pavement. So tight in the turns, you pull the G's. Don't miss a lap. Call 1-800-FX-FX-FX1 and we'll connect you to your local cable company. And you tell them you want NASCAR on FX.
Hey, Mr. Thompson. You're a Tigers man, right? How about that Roger Cedeno when he goes to steal? He takes that 1 foot and he just pushes it way out there, you know, just reaches all the way to second almost, you know? It's like he's already at second. He's at first, he's at second. And then you don't know, is he going? Is he staying, you know? Is he going? Is he staying? I don't know. I mean, if he's going, maybe he's staying, you know? Is he going? Is he going or is he staying? There he goes. There he goes. They're sending him. Now he's going to stay. He's sending him!
Oksana Bayul was very much a throwback to the beautiful days of skating.
This young lady could be the greatest female skater in history.
All of a sudden, she became a multimillionaire. She said, all I remember is drinking and drinking and drinking.
You look at it now and it is a blueprint for disaster.
And she had a knife in her hands.
Am I going to die there? Am I going to die there?
Beyond the Glory, Sunday at 8 on Fox Sports Net. Fox Sports Net.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Detroit Tigers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Detroit Tigers.
I was wondering when you were going to mention that. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Ryan Kohlmeyer with the Boeing ERA.
Yep.
7.27.
8 2/3 innings pitched so far this year. Has given up 4 home runs, walked 9, but has also struck out 10.
We mentioned he struggled his last time out. In fact, his last few games, it's not exactly been a picnic. He's given up 4 home runs in his last 6 games. And the Tigers will send up 9-1-2 in the order. There's a new catcher, too, out there, by the way, Fernando Lunar. Former Braves prospect. So Tigers need 2 to tie, 3 to win it.
All right, you're Billy McMillan, you're the hitter. You've got to make Kohlmeyer throw strikes. You need a base runner on so you can get that tying run to the plate. Kohlmeyer, a sinking fastball guy. Probably his slider is his best pitch. A sharp one.
Not too many Tigers have faced Kohlmeyer. He was a rookie last year. McMillan 1 at bat against him. He's 0 for 1.
Watch, he kind of has a jerky motion. He keeps that throwing arm behind his shoulder. Kind of short arms it. Very hard to pick up for the hitter, especially from the right side. Got to take a strike here. Oh, let that drill you.
Now count goes to 2-0. Billy McMillan trying to make something happen. He's 0 for 8 pinch hitting this year. Of course, he was supposed to be the DH for the Tigers this season, but injuries have dictated other guys have to DH. 3 balls, no strikes. Jose Macias on deck.
Don't help him.
Macias, one of the other few Tigers with a history against Kohlmeyer. He tripled off him last year.
Bill Madlock going through Jose Macias's mental approach. It's so important at this stage of any game. You're down to your last 3 outs, down 6-4. No reason to concede. Got to take another one here in my book.
Sweeps it towards the second baseman. Hairston lobs to first. So 1 down. More action in the Baltimore bullpen. Jorge Julio, just up from the minor leagues, and B.J. Ryan.
Now that 3-1 pitch right there, and Billy McMillan, as soon as he went into his windup, I would have maybe just stepped out. Maybe I get a balk out of it. You got to work your way on.
Macias made to move his feet as well.
was the slider.
Ripken in on the grass at third. Macias takes. And again, Kohlmeyer falls behind. Guides it in there for a strike. Plenty of lefties here. The rest of the way, it's Macias, switch hitter batting left. Ryan Jackson next. Bobby Higginson, Tony Clark. It's been 6 runs, 6 hits for Baltimore. They benefited from 6 walks allowed by Steve Sparks in his 6 innings. Tigers 4 runs on 8 hits. Two. Popped up foul.
I'll tell you what, Macias has watched more pitches tonight, I think, than anybody again. Just really gets, this is the 3rd time he's had 2 strikes on him up at the plate. Has fouled many balls off.
Which is a lot of the idea about moving him to the leadoff spot tonight. Two pitch again. Got him.
Nasty. Get that slider.
Yep.
That's tough. Set it up very well.
Filthy pitch for the 2nd out.
Well, he threw him a fastball on the inside corner. Now it just drops right down and in. Actually, that's another fastball.
Yep, you're right.
See Macias just trying to battle it off, trying to get a piece of it.
So it's left to Ryan Jackson, who was looking for his first hit as a Tiger. Has Major League experience with the Seattle Mariners and Florida. This time Kohlmeyer delivers a first pitch strike. Trying to give credit again to Willis Roberts. 7 innings, 4 hits as the starter tonight.
Two.
Tigers hoping the comeback effort does not fall short. They're down to their final strike. Left field, DeShields taking off after it into the corner. But the ball game ends. Tigers had a little bit of rally in them tonight. They were down 5-0. They carved it down to 5-4, but Baltimore wins it by a 6-4 final. Oh, and the losing streak is 7. The McDonald's player of the game, Willis Roberts, one-time Tiger farmhand, 7 innings, very strong. The McDonald's player of the game tonight. Tigers looking for a quick turnaround now. Afternoon game tomorrow. We hope you can make it out. See Chris Holt against Jason Johnson. Cal Ripken expected back in the lineup as the Orioles will look to sweep. Tigers sure hoping it doesn't get to that. Now on the 100-year anniversary of the Tigers in the American League, the comeback effort falls short. Your final is Baltimore 6 and the Tigers 4. Thanks to George Kell and John Hiller, and of course Kirk Gibson too. We're not done yet. We're ready to go to Bill Wixie and Rod Simons at our Fox Sports Net studios.
Thanks, Josh. Another long night for the Tigers as they extend that 6-game losing streak to 7. So I guess the question we're asking around here, what will it take to turn this thing around?
We'll address Tigers as a member of baseball's American League.
Good evening. This. Ed Simons, Bill Wixie. Stay right there. Your Detroit Sports Report is loaded. We're all over the Tigers and more.
Well, at least this time around, the weather cooperated. As the Tigers celebrate 100, as Milwaukee was rained out. This one wasn't rained out. And that's our hot story. The Tigers. Welcome back Al Kaline, George Kell, Mickey Lolich, and a whole bunch of great names throughout history to commemorate the 100th anniversary today at Comerica. And what did the Tigers do to celebrate? They go out and fall to the Orioles 6-4. Their 12th loss in 14 games. But you know what? You know, we can celebrate this thing, and it's great. I mean, it's a wonderful thing and a beautiful moment, and 100 years of baseball is a beautiful thing to celebrate. But you know what? We don't have a lot to celebrate this year. The Tigers come into this game with the worst record in baseball, Rod.
And as a month goes, April, to be quite frank, bites for the Tigers. Losers of 6 straight, make that 7 now, and, oh, you know, 12 of the last 14. It would be a great day to get off the schneid, take it on the Orioles. Gorgeous night. Bottom 3, 2 out. Runner on second. Oh, say Macias grounds one. Willis Roberts' gloves it gets in the way. Mike Bordick collects it, tosses, and tags Roger Cedeno. Overran the bag. That's just kind of the way it went. Cal Ripken still getting it done at the plate.
Wow.
Top of 5. Runner on the corners. Cal leaves the yard off Steve Sparks. That's number 418. Wild time.
Yeah, a 5-run 5th for the Orioles did most of the damage. And then some damage here. Damian Easley appears to have been hit by the pitch. It looked like it hit off the knob of the bat, which apparently is a part of your hand, right, when they start talking about this stuff. But you know what? Phil Garner doesn't agree. He gets tossed out of the game. And you know what, Phil? That bat was saying nasty things about you. Take that!
That's just weeks of frustration coming out right there.
But you know what? It kind of rallied the team a little bit.
Certainly did.
Bottom 8, 1 out, 2 on, Higgy. A fractured bat and just kind of plops it down the right field line. Cardona scores. Jackson comes in to score. The Baltimore lead is 5-3. Davy Cruz would drive Higgy in from there to make it 5-4, but Mike Bordick gets a solo home run to put the Orioles up 6-4, and that's all the cushion they would need.
6-4 your final. Tigers now 2-8 at Comerica to start the season. That is not good. Former Tiger farmhand Willis Roberts 3-0 on the season. His ERA hovering around 1.20, going in 1.23. Josh will give us the numbers more than likely. Steve Sparks falls, and the streak again at 7 straight.
All righty, with more, Josh Lewin at the scene.
Willis Roberts, about a 1.2 ERA. It's stunning because, you know, the Tigers had this guy at Double-A. His ERA was 6.2 for an entire season. He had an inning and a third of big league experience, and that was it coming into this year. But he's been awesome for the Orioles. He has discovered a split-fingered fastball. That's a regular fastball. One of those was taken back very close to his head. And fortunately, he was okay, got the glove up in time. But you see him there against Davy Cruz. He worked very well throughout the evening, and 7 innings of 4-hit ball. Tigers did make a little bit of a dent against the Oriole bullpen, but too little, too late. They get done in by Willis Roberts pretty much tonight.
All righty, Josh Lewin, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll have better news to report next time. Every time we come out there, it's just nothing going on.
I know. Hopefully next time we get to smile at each other a little bit.
All righty. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Okay, well, despite another disappointing loss before the game got started tonight, the Tigers actually celebrated 100 years in the American League and looking back at a tradition that has seen a lot of winning in that time. The celebration includes players of the past taking a look back, fans and players from the present looking ahead to the future with hopes of regaining that winning tradition back to Detroit. A little later in the broadcast, our Trevor Thompson will take us through this evening's huge celebration out at Comerica.
Well, the Red Detroit actually scored 9 times in the bottom of the ninth to come back and win that game 14-13 on this night 100 years ago. There was a celebration at Comerica tonight, not to commemorate that game necessarily, but 100 years of Tiger baseball. Trevor Thompson was there.
From Billy Rogel to Bobby Higginson, from Mickey Lolich to Jeff Weaver, and Willie Horton to Tony Clark. The faces of Tiger baseball have changed dramatically over the past 100 years, and tonight provided a rare opportunity to see the past meet the future in living color.
It's great just to hear the stories. It's great just to be around them. It gives you a much greater appreciation for what we have and the opportunities that present themselves daily for us, knowing that the guys that came before us paved the way, and those are the guys that have been here for us.
That D is something special. It's I don't have the words to say what it means, but it's part of my heart, and it's be part of me until it rests me.
11 Hall of Fame players helped the Tigers amass 4 World Series titles over the past century, and reliving those memories with old friends is what makes a night like tonight special for the heroes of days gone by.
I've spent 53 years of my life around here playing ball and broadcasting. It's a great city. I love it. I love to come back to Detroit. It's just like coming home.
You know, when I brag, I got to brag. Our infield drove in 882 runs in 2 years. Just show me an infield that did that, even close to it.
We know we should have won in 67, and in 68 we did it. And you take 67 and 68, I mean, two great, fantastic years in Tiger baseball.
Add a lifetime of beauty to your home with a Larson MagnaCore Storm and Screen Door from Menard. With it over.
There's some other station, and at 6 o'clock every night we have a TV dinner in our apartment or in Little Rock or a home in Swifton. And we watch every game. And my wife is a fantastic fan. My first wife, we were married 50 years. She died in 1990. And then Carol and I married in 95. And she knew nothing about baseball, but I brought her up here to a few games. And good night. Last night, she wound up down in John McHale's booth looking for John Sr. She wanted to talk to him because she knew his wife. She's been to the Hall of Fame. She knows Johnny Bench and all those people.
There's some similarities between you and I. We're both Tigers. We're both broad.